It's time for Intelligent Machines. Jeff Jarvis is here. Yes, he's feeling better. So is Paris Martineau. Our guest this week, Mark Surman, is the president of Mozilla.org. He talks about Mozilla's new AI manifesto. We'll also talk about corn. Can AI actually grow corn and make money doing it? That and a whole lot more coming up next on Intelligent Machines.
Podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
This is Intelligent Machines with Paris Martineau and Jeff Jarvis, episode 855, recorded Wednesday, January 28th, 2026. When you're right, you're right. It's time for Intelligent Machines, the show we cover the latest in AI and robotics and the smart machines surrounding us all today and tomorrow and forever. Joining us right now, Paris Martineau from Consumer Reports. Hi, Paris.
Hi, Leo. I'm surrounded by machines. They're getting ever closer. Please help.
Well, I do note that you seem to have stolen something from your father's study.
I got one of my own. I realized that we're talking about the Yes Man, which is a
on the left side of your screen
that my dad had in the 90s. That when my parents and I were drunk on vacation last summer, I decided I was going to find 2 more copies of it and buy them on eBay and send one to my parents' house because they'd lost theirs and send one to mine.
So cute.
And I did that.
Does it still function? Does it still say yes?
Oh, it doesn't still function. I mean, the batteries might have died since I put this together. We'll see.
That is the strangest.
Hello.
I couldn't agree with you more completely.
Thank you. You're
I
so
couldn't
right.
agree with you more completely. Wow. Okay. That is the kitschiest thing I've seen in quite some time. But I'm glad he has
very true.
a position of honor now in the
Yeah, he's
show.
got to be looking on over me.
I couldn't agree with you more.
He also says, when you're right, you're right. And how do you do it?
Is this a memory from when you were a little child?
It is. I remember my parents
It's so
turning it on
cute.
and laughing hysterically. And then those phrases are things that we'll just say to each other.
It's a family
in
thing
and
now.
about
Yep.
our lives.
It's a little plastic Marco Rubio on your desk.
It is.
It's good to have.
It really is. Everybody's got to get one.
Hey, let's say hello to our dear friend, Jeff Jarvis, no longer in a hospital bed. He's home now. Are you feeling a little bit better, Jeff?
I'm feeling better. Yeah, I'm getting there. The back hurts. I'm hobbling around with a cane.
So this is from your coccyx? No, it wasn't. It was your L2 or something.
Hey!
It's my L3. It's my L3.
It's still compressed?
There's the killer bedding that I lost to.
Oh,
Wow.
my God.
So now it's gloating.
It is. I've got you now. You're mine now, baby. Well, I hope you feel better. I'm
I was
glad.
taking it off. I pulled it. My feet slipped. I fell up and down. I got a compression factor to my L3. And then separately, we thought I might have had an infection to my spine. But separately, probably from a tooth cleaning, I got a strep blood infection.
Yeah, sometimes dentists, in fact, from now on, I imagine, will require you to take antibiotic before you go in for any kind of dental work because of that. Your mouth turns out is
I didn't even
filthy.
realize that was something I should be worried about.
Mouth is filthy.
They used to, because I have a mitral valve prolapse, a valve thing. And they used to require me to do it. The dentist yelled at me one year. I'm not touching you until you take those antibiotics. And then the policy they just changed. Okay, you don't take them anymore.
And you got sick.
I got sick.
Not good.
Well, I mean, it's bad that you were injured, but I guess silver lining is that they found this before it got worse.
Turned into sepsis, yeah.
Yeah, we were worried about it. I'm so glad you're okay, Jeff. And we're glad you're here for this because we have a very exciting guest this week.
Great guest coming up, yep.
Today, Mozilla announced or released let me show you the website. It's great. If you go to stateof.mozilla.org, it loads up like a command line. The future is not auto-generated. It's not pre-approved. It requires consent. Mozilla Foundation, which created Firefox, there's a little Firefox video right there, has announced that I think they're calling themselves the Rebel Alliance.
Yeah.
We choose humanity. We choose collective power. We choose a different economic model. Now, I'm a Firefox user. I use Firefox because I don't want Google to dominate. And Chromium is pretty much on every other browser. I use a Firefox fork called Zen, but it's Firefox under the hood. And I think it's important that we don't have a monoculture in browsers. But I also am a fan of Mozilla because it's open source and and they're good people.
I agree. I think it's also important we don't have a monoculture in terms of browsers, but Mozilla is down to like 3%.
I know.
We've gotten into a kind of default monoculture. We're a long ways away. Wow, my dad's going to get a lot of shout out today on the show. Long ways away from back in the early 2000s where my parents yelled at me for downloading what they decreed was a virus called Google Chrome. We're long ways away.
They were using
from those
Internet
days.
Explorer, no doubt.
They were, and they were so unhappy with the idea that anything else could exist. And now it's the dominant player in the
by
market.
far dominant. So Mark Surman, who's the new president of the Mozilla Foundation, will join us. I'm really excited to get Mark on to talk about this. It has a lot to do with AI. It's not exactly anti-AI, but it is judicious about AI. And of course,
it's a different path of AI that we've discussed on the show.
Yeah,
open source and smaller human scale. I think that's what matters.
Mark will join us in about 45 minutes. I'm really looking forward to talking to him. It does change around a little bit, our order. We're going to do some AI news first. And of course...
hour and 15, technically, rather than 45, but yes.
Okay, thank you. Well, you're the keeper of the facts here.
I've just got a clock right here looking me in the face, and I can't.
Wait a minute, is that also from your childhood? My God.
No, it's just a flip. I wish I had this in my childhood. It's just a flip clock. I think I've given it as a pick of the week before on the show.
The Twemco,
it's from Twemco.
Yes.
It makes a really satisfying little flip every minute, and then at the hour, it makes a very satisfying clonk. It's wonderful.
When all three of them flip.
Would recommend.
Well, we'll be listening for the clonk, and that will be the signal for Mark Surman to join us. We'll look forward to that. Meanwhile, we have about 300 or 400 stories to go over, so if you will just be patient, we will.
Last week, you all saw Leo, or the week before last, maybe it was, Leo did his wonderful new tool, and I looked at the rundown, and I said, "Oh my God, it's been flooded."
It works too well.
It was slop.
It's not, because all of this are articles, but my new RSS reader that I did vibe code has really been incredible because I could so quickly go through. I've renamed it to Beat Check because it's really my morning beat check where I go through all of my sources and find as many of the AI stories as I can, and there's quite a few of them.
Okay, I know we talked about this in the show before, but while we're on it right now, how long, like time-wise, did it take you to vibe code this? And how much of your usage did it? Because I tried to do a little vibe coding project this week and immediately ran out of my Claude Pro account.
So the first thing I did is I paid for Claude Max, $250 a month.
Yeah.
But my rationalization is, well, I'm writing stuff that I might have to pay for or I might never. For instance, I also, the other day, I realized that I am using two different journaling apps. I use Day One and I use Obsidian. And I didn't like it that there were different places. So I asked Claude to write me a tool, a one-time only tool that was going to export all the Obsidian stuff, move it into Day One. It did. It took about 10 minutes. I will never use it again.
Did that not already exist?
People have, this is what Claude does, and this is what's changed, is Claude Code goes out and searches for people who've done it and finds repositories, finds blog posts, and was able to write its own thing in Rust based on information it gathered from a bunch of people who've done it. As far as I know, as far as I could tell, it wasn't just lifting the code wholesale. And there are APIs, there are interfaces. But anyway, it wrote a very nice tool. It imported it all. But this is the thing to understand, besides the fact that you need a lot of credits, it is kind of an iterative process. You want to, with Claude Code, go into planning mode first, spend some time talking about what you want to do. It will ask you questions. And then maybe you do some iterative coding. So for instance, the Beat Check store program I wrote on a Sunday morning over a couple of hours, but I've been continuing to iterate every time I think of something I want to take out, which is more often the things I want to put in, I can do that. And so it's on its like 4th or 5th version now. Because
now, is it labeled as versions? Can you, if you say, "Oh, I screwed that up," I can revert to the prior version?
Because you push it to GitHub, so you can say, "Oh, never mind. Let's go back one." Git allows you to do that. So yes, it's all designed kind of as you would do it as a developer.
Yeah.
Anil Dash had a great piece, Codeless, he calls it, from idea to software, that really describes this revolution that's happening literally as we speak right now. He says there's finally been a great leap forward in coding tech unlocked by AI. Not just it's doing some work for me, but we couldn't do this before. And there are a number of tools people are using. He talks about Ralph Wiggum, which I've mentioned before. There's another one called Gastown. A lot of these are ways of harnessing multiple instances of Claude all working together, or in some cases, there's one guy who's written a tool that does it in an adversarial way. It's like, he says, it's like court, where you have one Claude instance write some code and then has to justify it to an advocate who is taking the other side, saying, no, that's a bad idea, and has to prove it before it gets committed. It's very interesting. This is all about orchestration. And Neil says, here's the 10-point bullet point summary. Codeless is a way to describe a new way of orchestrating large numbers of AI coding bots to build software at scale. You don't write code directly, you write a plan for the end result, and the system directs your bots to build code to deliver it. And he goes on. I don't need to get into too many details, but I think it's really interesting for me to watch this organic development of people like Anil and Harper Reed and so many others kind of expanding the space. It's not necessarily Anthropic, although Anthropic is pretty good about embracing it. I should also, one other thing I wanted to point out, you've probably seen the conversation, maybe even been tempted by what was called Clawdbot.
Not spelled how you think.
CLAWD. Well,
used to be called that.
Yeah, Anthropic got mad and he's renamed it to Moltbot, which is
bad name.
Terrible.
Too close to mold.
And you may be tempted to try it, as I was.
Of course. I should have actued. I saw what you were about to talk about and I thought about sending it to you.
It comes with a free set of headphones. All you have to do is give it 3 credit cards. A lot of people are crazy about this thing. My alarm bells went off pretty quickly.
Well, my first alarm bell so I also saw all the chatter about Clawdbot. And I was like, oh, I guess I'll look into this. What is it? And my first alarm bell went off when it was like the only really way to communicate with it is through WhatsApp or like your chat app of choice, that it has to be kind of set up. And I was like, that just seems like a somewhat ridiculous extra hurdle to have to this. And then all of the descriptions I heard of what it could do just didn't sound that. People were like, oh, I use Clawdbot to make a reservation for me on Resi. I'm like, I could make a reservation for me on Resi.
Well, but this is all automated. In fact,
but it's not automated because you have to say, Clawdbot, I'd like a reservation at blank place at blank time. And you could go do that if you have that information.
If that's how you're using it. But you could also say, Clawdbot, I've got a couple of free hours in New York City on next Thursday afternoon. Find a good restaurant and make a reservation for me.
I guess
so. You could be more generic, is what I'm saying. But don't. Because one of the ways you use Clawdbot is to give it permission to do anything. It says, this works best, because you don't want to interact with it. It works best if you just say, go ahead, just do it. And that really makes me nervous. Clawdbot has amassed, Moltbot, I should call it now, Moltbot, which really has amassed 44, this is from TechCrunch, 44,000 stars on GitHub. So a star is how you vote on a project on GitHub and say, I like this. 44,000 is a lot. So much viral attention has been paid to Moltbot, TechCrunch writes, that it's even moved markets. Cloudflare's stock surged 14% on Tuesday as social media buzz around the agent re-sparked investor enthusiasm for Cloudflare's infrastructure. It uses Cloudflare. Developers use Moltbot to run locally on their devices. Now, contrast this to what Anthropic has done with Claude the Claude version it's making for normies, you have to have a Macintosh called Claude Cowork. We talked about this on Sunday with Alex Stamos, who's a very prestigious security guy. In fact, his latest startup is called Corridor.ai, and it's about security with your AI, with your vibe-coded AI stuff, how to make sure it's secure. He said Anthropic did this right. With Claude Cowork, it creates a virtual machine. In fact, that's why it takes so. Have you tried it yet, Paris, on your Mac?
Yes, I've been trying Claude Cowork.
It takes
a while forever to set up.
To load up, right? It's that bar goes across. That's because it's actually building a virtual machine that it's running in. It is sandboxed from your system. They've done a lot of work to keep it from being harmful. So contrast that with Moltbot, which says, just give it permission to do anything you want. It's running bare metal on your machine. There is I think, a real risk of prompt injection on both tools, but that's why Claude Cowork runs in a sandbox. So code injection will be.
Why I think Google wins in the end, because Google already knows everything about me. So what's the harm in adding an agentic layer on top of that? Or as Apple uses Gemini, and you're in the Apple ecosystem, well, Apple already knows everything about me. What's the harm of adding the layer there? I think that feels a lot safer than saying I'm going to take a third party, so to speak, tool and give it access to everything I have.
And your credit cards. All three of them.
Well, that's
my issue with, I've been trying to play around with Gemini as much as possible too, and I haven't found it hitting this. I think Gemini in my uses is only useful when it is clear, like a Google specific task might have an edge. Like if I'm trying to figure out, like the other week I was trying to look for coffee places in New York City that were open within a couple day window that would have a specific type of coffee brewer thing that I wanted in stock. And Gemini was way better at that than Claude or ChatGPT, and I think that just makes sense because they've got the search parameter thing down. But I've also I've found that Gemini is like strangely lacking when it comes to other aspects of just running an AI model. And one example is like, have you tried to use the Gemini agentic kind of injection for Google Sheets? It would be so simple if you had, let's say, a little Gemini popping up on the side that would take a look at your data and then be like, okay, this is the correct Excel sheet function to put in there. But instead it tries to do that all in the cell itself instead of working separately and then inputting something. It's just a mess. There's so many unintuitive things about Gemini in a way that I haven't noticed. I guess perhaps it's just because of the pervasiveness of Google products, but I haven't noticed the same thing among ChatGPT or Claude.
Yeah, I agree, Paris. Even in Gmail, I had to find an email today of something that I was scheduled to do that maybe I can't do now, and I gave it like 5 clues, and it had no idea. And you think the Gmail search is bad enough? Oddly, this is worse. And Nate B. Jones, one of his many demos is that he used Claude, gave it access to his mail, and said, I can't find this scheduling line for somebody. Can you go look for it? And it did, and found it more effectively than Google did.
I think there's a lot of utility in all of this stuff. I'm just advocating for caution, especially if you don't understand what you're doing or the potential risk. Even the guy who created Moltbot got bit by malicious actors. This is from TechCrunch. Peter Steinberger is the guy who created it. Steinberger himself was served with a reminder that malicious actors exist when he, quote, messed up the renaming of his project. Anthropic said you can't call it Clawdbot. That's confusing. So he complained on X that crypto scammers snatched his GitHub username and created fake cryptocurrency projects in his name.
Jesus.
And he warned followers that any project that lists him as a coin owner is a scam. In fact, you might have seen some conversation. I saw it on Reddit about Clawdbot saying, I can't use that. It's a crypto thing. And he said, no. He says, I don't do any crypto with Clawdbot. He posted the GitHub issue has been fixed, but cautioned the legitimate X account is MOLTBOT on X, not any of the 20 scam variations of it. There's a lot of bad actors out there. They're using AI. They're doing some, all sorts of stuff that maybe a less sophisticated user might not be aware of, like prompt injection. The best advice is to run, and you could do this with Clawdbot, to run it in a virtual machine. Interestingly, a number of people have gone out to buy Mac Minis because it only runs on a Mac, I guess, or no, it's easiest to run on a Mac. Have gone out to buy Mac Minis to run Moltbot on on a Mac Mini that's separate from their own hardware. It's just wild.
But
anyway,
it still needs access to your data and other things.
Sure. And so, in fact, so does Cowork. If you want Cowork to do some of the things that they've promoted, like rearrange icons on your desktop, it's going to have access to your desktop. So there's always a risk.
What does Steve say about this?
Oh, I don't know if Steve's completely up on all the risk. I think he's aware of it. He's not as avid. He's a fan of AI for sure. He's not as avid a user as I am. I think it's really important for everybody who has some interest in this to start pushing on it. Maybe in little ways. Maybe just do what you're doing with ChatGPT, Paris. But the more you kind of use this, the better you understand the kind of the uncharted territory we're working in these days. When you mentioned that, and I think this is the case. Jeff's the first person to do a podcast from his hospital bed. He said next he wanted to do it in a sauna. So I immediately opened up Nano Banana to put us in a sauna. Weirdly, Jeff's in a towel, Paris is in a towel. The rest of us are fully clothed.
Weirdly, this is basically the entirety of the internet it's training on, which was make the woman naked and then put the two guys in clothes.
It was a
yeah, but we know what it was communicating.
Well, but then I said, well, wait a minute, put Jeff and me in towels. And it kept us fully clothed and put towels around us, which was
because
very
men
weird.
Can't be nude.
Apparently. But the point was, as soon as I opened Gemini, it said...
You don't want us to be.
Yeah, trust us. It said, as soon as I opened Gemini, do you want to connect all your stuff? Oh. And I said, yes, of course I do, because this is the new thing from Google, is Google is leaning into this whole thing, saying, hey, Gemini will be better if you give it access to your Gmail, your calendar, and your Google Drive. So it can now. I think I trust them. They already, by the way.
Leo, you trust anybody who texts you asking for gift cards.
By the way, I just want to point out, Google already has access to all of that. Right? Google can read my Gmail.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, you've already passed that Rubicon.
Yeah. So now I'm just giving it
over the hill.
I'm giving it to Gemini. I don't know. I think this is the problem, is in order to do useful stuff, you do need to give it access to stuff. But do it judiciously, I guess, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, or you can be like me and be like, all right, I'm going to try to use Claude Code to do what they say in the demo thing of organize some files. And then you plug in your big old file folder that's full of court documents that are all publicly accessible, so it's not really a security risk, but they're poorly labeled. And you're like, Gemini or Claude, I want you to organize these by case file number and using this naming structure. And then it spins and spins and spins, and you fall into a terrible error because Claude freaks out if it accesses PDFs over 100 pages, even if it doesn't need to open the PDF. I don't know. I had some frustration this weekend, but I suppose
you're just not paying enough. You need to pay more.
I'm not going to pay $250 to organize PDFs in file folders. That is a strictly $20 a month activity. It would take me 30 minutes to do. I can't pay $250.
Is it over the limit of Notebook LM?
That's a great question. I forget what the Notebook LM limits are, but probably not. But Notebook LM is, I've found quite useful I used it whenever I was working on protein powder.
Definitely not. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, there you go. You may have thought that was Leo's voice. It's not.
That's our next story. I didn't realize it would play as soon as I opened it, but go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying,
By the way, that's a really good use for Claude Code, and I totally think it would do what you want it to do. In fact, my next project...
it frankly took a lot more steps than I think it should have, but that's fine. You want to have an interaction with it rather than just go do it. That's the thing that worries me, is just go do it. Although everybody's starting to talk about, look what it can one-shot, and it can run for hours and blah, blah, blah. You do have to pay for it.
It never succeeded, Paris.
No, I tried. I mean, I ended up falling into I have now deleted it from my cowork history because there's like some strange memory leak issues, I feel like, with cowork on Mac. But there seems to have been like a recent bug that at least people chattering online have also experienced this, where it kept saying the prompt was too long, even though the prompt was like one sentence. I think it was just trying to include all of the documents in all of my folders as part of the prompt once we got back and forth a couple of times. But I don't know. I found it frustrating, but I tried, which I suppose is useful.
We're about half an hour away from our visit with the president of Mozilla. Let's take a little break. I do want to play this new Qwen 3 text-to-speech demo because it's pretty terrifying.
Kids, hide your wallets from Dad. Don't let him get near them.
But first, a word from our sponsor. Our show today, by the way, great to see Jeff Jarvis feeling better. Thank you for being here, Jeff. Professor of Emeritus of Journalistic Innovation at the Craig Newmark Graduate School of Journalism at the City University of New York. I got it in because I didn't do it in the beginning. I did it in the middle. And also the author of many great books like The Gutenberg Parenthesis, The Web We Weave, and Magazine, and soon Hot Type.
I'm proofreading.
Get your Hot Type.
Hot Type. Great. What I've read so far, I love. I had to put it on the back burner because I had so many other things that I have to read, including Stacy's book club book, which is Friday, and I'm not quite done with it. I gotta read it, but I love it so far. I'm really enjoying Hot Type. I think it's your best yet, to be honest.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
It's a great story, right?
It's a great story.
Yeah.
Great bunch of stories.
Yeah, the story of the linotype. But we will talk about that more, I'm sure, when the book comes out next. It's a couple of months. Next month,
June.
June. These things take forever. Paris Martineau also here working on more radioactive shrimp.
In a way, perhaps. Everything is radioactive shrimp if you think about it.
The metaphor for everything.
She is an investigative journalist at Consumer Reports and especially covers food safety. And that is a big story these days. I think we need to do the whole milk scandal. Just making that up. Lisa said, so we're supposed to drink skim milk now? I said, no. That's the good news. We're supposed to drink whole milk now. She misinterpreted the milk mustaches in the Oval Office.
As a lactose intolerant person, this knowledge is not for me.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's terrible.
I mean, listen, it's all in a spectrum, right? You know, I'm not from childhood. I've always been like, ugh, milk tastes disgusting. And that's clearly why.
Your body was telling you something.
I can have most cheeses. I
was going
to say, I love cheese. I mean, that's the thing.
That's the thing.
I love cheese, and I'll deal with mild discomfort for cheese, always.
And now we have a show title, Mild Discomfort for Cheese.
Always.
Anyway, great to have you both. The gang is together, and we're so glad. We thought Jeff wouldn't be here this week. You were going to travel somewhere.
We're begging him to not be here while injured.
Oh, sir, that's right. The eye surgery. So that's been delayed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've had enough going on. Yep.
Yeah. Don't get old, Paris. I'm just saying. Actually,
I don't plan on it.
That's not good. That's not because the alternative isn't good either. Stay young.
I'll be cryogenically frozen at the age of 40.
Forever young. That's the key. Bob Dylan had it. Our show today brought to you by Trusted Tech, brand new sponsor. Want to welcome them to the show. We love these guys. Had a great conversation with them last week. And they solve a problem a lot of businesses have. If you're using Microsoft 365, there's a very good chance you are paying for licenses either that you don't need or you're missing licenses that you do need. And let's not forget, coming in July, Microsoft's been warning you about this. They're going to implement a significant price increase for M365. and also make it all a little bit more complicated. There's a lot more nuance than before. This is why you need Trusted Tech. Trusted Tech helps businesses of all sizes get the most out of their Microsoft investment by ensuring their M365 environment is well supported and aligned with how the business actually operates. Look, everyone knows Microsoft licensing is complicated. Options can vary widely. Trusted Tech's team understands all this, and they can really help you understand what licenses you have, what licenses you need, how to make the most of the ones you're already paying for. If you want to make sure you're getting M365 done right, Trusted Tech is offering a free Microsoft 365 licensing consultation. Just go to the website. Now, it's a little complicated and long, so I want you to get this right. trustedtech.team/intelligent365. Okay? Not .com. It's trustedtech.team/intelligent365 to get a clear data-backed view of your current licenses, optimization opportunities, and next steps. No obligation. Now, if you think, well, Microsoft must hate this. No, let me tell you, Microsoft loves it. In fact, listen to what Kevin Turner says. He's the former Microsoft Chief Operating Officer. This is what he said to Trusted Tech. He said, you have an incredible customer reputation, and you have to earn that every single day. The relentless focus you guys have on taking care of customers gives them value and differentiates you in the marketplace. Hey, if it's good enough for Kevin Turner, it's good enough for me. But more than that, Trusted Tech also elevates the Microsoft support experience because they have certified support services. And they are used by some of the best and the biggest in the world, like NASA uses Trusted Tech. NASA, Netflix, Neuralink, Apple. Yes, Apple uses Trusted Tech. Intel, Google uses Trusted Tech. Lockheed Martin, and many, many more companies save 32% to 52% compared to the average Microsoft Unified Support Agreement. So whether you're looking to fine-tune your Microsoft 365 licensing, to improve the way your organization receives proactive support, or both, Trusted Tech offers you free consultations to help you understand your options. Go to trustedtech.team/intelligent365 and submit a form. You'll get in contact with Trusted Tech's Microsoft licensing engineers, and they can help you make your way through the thicket. trustedtech.team/intelligent365. We thank them so much for their support of intelligent machines. Now, I read that ad personally, but I think in future I may not have to, because the Chinese company, I think, is it Alibaba? Yeah, Alibaba, that does Qwen, has released a new text-to-speech synthesizer that is remarkable. Let me just, this is their sample page on, actually it's not theirs, it's Hugging Space's sample page that gives them some text to synthesize, auto choice of the language, although you can choose multiple languages. We've described this passage, the voice we want it to read in is, speak in an incredulous tone, but with a hint of panic beginning to creep into your voice. Here's what it sounds like.
It's in the top drawer. Wait, it's empty? No way, that's impossible. I'm sure I put it there.
Okay, that's pretty good. You want to hear me?
I mean, I guess it's a hint of panic, but I wouldn't say the hint is panicky in a way that a normal human... No way, that's not where I put it there.
All right.
The acting is bad. The acting is bad in that.
Bad acting. All right, well, maybe this is bad acting too, but Anthony Nielsen used it to create a, I guess he must have used some samples of my voice. I don't know how many he used.
He said,
I just asked him, and my shock is because, he just said that what you're about to hear was produced with only a 2-minute sample of Leo's voice, and that is astounding to me.
Here's what Anthony created. Hey, Burke, this is definitely not Leo asking you to buy gift cards, but seriously, can you grab me 100 Apple gift cards? Just kidding. This is Anthony testing text-to-speech. How's it sound? That's pretty close.
It sounds great.
That's pretty close.
It's insane that it produced that with 2 minutes. I thought he was going to say like a couple of hours minimum. I was just saying, I feel like you are probably one of the most recorded people in terms of hours of content out there, easily accessible on the internet right now. Well, and if you could put all of that into Qwen or something, you would have, it might sound better, more like you than you.
Burke did buy the gift cards, by the way. You can send those along to me, Burke.
Headsets for all.
Yeah.
What excites me about this, is we've talked about this in the show before, is that what you just demonstrated is a markup language for voice. Is
right.
that you could take a book or take a script,
right,
and then imbue it with the emotions you want. And I think that's where it gets really exciting.
I mean, 11 Labs has been doing this for a while and can do it quite well. They have an app called 11 Reader. The other day, I was telling Lisa about an X thread I had just read about what's going on in Minneapolis. It was a really good X thread. And she said, send it to me. And I said, well, wait a minute. Let me have 11 Labs Reader read it. So I gave it the URL. I attached it to our speakers in the kitchen and played it. Now, what I'd forgotten is that I had just set up Michael Caine's voice. So it was Michael Caine doing it. But it was really good. And it is, I mean, I ended up saying, you know what, I'm paying the $100 a year for 11 Reader because I can now have, and it has a lot of different voices. I can have these voices, these excellent voices to read stuff. It's so good because not everything is recorded. I mean, look, I'd rather have a human record it, but there's a lot of stuff like X threads or, blog
There's lots
posts.
of books that should be audiobooks that aren't.
And there's lots of books that aren't read and so forth. I think it's pretty impressive. Let me see. I don't know what voice I have.
Yeah, I listened to a book about the history of sugar for my supply chain book club using 11 Labs.
It's pretty amazing, isn't it?
Just because I didn't like the audiobook narrator.
Well, that happens too, right? I bought audiobooks that I don't like the narrator. That's a very good point.
My name is Michael Caine. I played many roles in my life, on and off the screen. I've spent a lifetime telling stories.
Now, I presume they
so
licensed
they license?
it.
Yeah.
Of course they did, yeah. Same thing with Burt Reynolds. I've played some of these before. Deepak Chopra. I like Maya Angelou.
I mean, again,
that people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel.
I think that's great.
That's great.
She's going to read all my blog posts from now on.
Small quibble with this is what I did learn whenever I was having the 11 Labs voice I chose read through the History of Sugar book is it would be ideal if there was a way to opt, because it was just reading from the EPUB, but of course there are like footnotes throughout it, and it would read out every single number, and then it would read the number, like if there was a footnote and then a period afterwards, then it would think that's the beginning of a list, and it would just get very confused in small and obvious ways.
I think they've gotten better than that though now, haven't they?
I mean, this was like 2 months ago. Maybe they have.
Okay.
But I was also on the free version and just using a ebook that I liberated from perhaps its rightful copywritten state using whatever thing you sent me. So I'm sure that some aspect of that probably messed with it as well.
Well, I think we're getting better and better and better. And yeah, you know what? This is a really incredible accessibility technology for blind people with low vision.
Well, I used to be on the board of what is now called Learning Ally. We used to be recording for the blind and dyslexic. And amazing organization, started after World War I, and people were blinded by gas. And volunteers doing audio of all the books. And the important thing about it is because of laws passed around this, they have the right to do any book. You have
interesting.
You have to be sight impaired
for accessibility.
Or dyslexic.
Yeah.
But for accessibility, any book can be done. But the other thing they do is that it'll be interesting to see how AI has been into this. Some of the specialized readers, if you have, let's say, a biology textbook, the reader will come across a diagram of a leaf and will describe it using the reader's language because the reader is expert enough to know how to do it. And I can well imagine AI doing the same thing where it comes across an illustration and does the alt text of it in a contextual way.
Really interesting stuff.
Some people in the YouTube chat bring up a good point, which I'm sure that we've discussed before. But the advent of these speech synthesizing tools, like the fact that you can get that good of a recording of Leo just from a 2-minute clip of his voice, really does pose some issues or concerns for spam and spoofing calls. I mean,
well, that's exactly why Anthony made that. Say, get some Apple cards.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, from beyond
don't trust anybody's voice.
Point. I mean, my parents, when I went to visit them, were talking about this. They're like, yeah, someone we know got a call from their son. Yeah. Turns out it wasn't their son, but they had a whole conversation with him.
Wow.
Seemed right, and they almost sent that person a lot of money. Wow. It's getting
So can you do it in real time? Could I have a voice changer that would change my voice into your voice? I haven't seen anything like that, but that would be...
I mean, couldn't you have it running much like
fast.
A voice to text, or when you're talking voice mode to chat GPT? It doesn't have to be text to voice. It could just be the kind of back and forth you see already in an LLM where it's purely a voice interaction.
Well, and it's not great for voiceover artists. Aunt Pruitt mentioned that, and it's not good for people who read audiobooks for a living. I think real people are still better at this.
Yeah.
But not much better.
I mean, you can definitely tell when it's a AI, even a good one from 11 Labs reading something, just the cadence is off.
Your former boss, Jessica Lesson, wrote a piece about using AI to summarize her notes from Davos. And she said, well, it wasn't great. It was kind of, obvious. It was the obvious stuff. But it made an excellent PowerPoint presentation after I've modified it and edited it and added my insights to it. She said the thing that's different... And
Consultants are done for.
Yeah, right. I think that's what's different is that the AI doesn't have her 20 years of experience. And the point she really made, which I thought was interesting, is the thing that's most interesting to her and her audience is how Davos this year is different from Davos last year and the year before and the year before. And the AI can't really do that very well. But she
but having done it for about 10 or 12 years, it's always BS. What's the mood of Davos?
Yeah. It was about AI. This year, it was all about AI, wasn't it? I mean...
My question with this is, what does this really matter? What does it matter what anybody says on a stage at Davos? I don't think it does. It's just a different it's just a more decentralized version of this presentation should have been an emailed press release that we get from, Apple or Google whenever they're announcing a product, except for it's 50-some CEOs and executives.
Well, Jeff, you're the expert. I mean, Jeff went for many years.
The advantage...
Jeff Davos Jarvis.
Yeah. The advantage is the hallway. Well, I got to go, so who are we going to say no?
It's the lobby con, is what you're saying.
It's lobby. It's lobby. It's all you meet somebody and you have a serendipitous conversation. That's what the value is. You get inspired by something. I mean, I've had scenes in a couple of my books from Davos because I was there, and I can say, oh, this illustrates something, right? But it was useful for me.
Did you, let's see, we still have a little time before our guest joins us. We're going to be talking to the president of Mozilla about their new manifesto, which just came out. They're pro-human, not anti-AI, but they're the Rebel Alliance. Let's put it that way.
I want to see if they have a uniform.
They probably have a tattoo. I mean,
yeah,
you got to have a Rebel Alliance tattoo. Dario Amodei, who is the founder and CEO of Anthropic, wrote his yearly letter. The Adolescence of Technology came out this month, confronting and overcoming the risks of powerful AI. Of course, Anthropic's always been all about the risks and mitigating the risks.
Again, risks defined by the doomsters.
Yeah.
But
he says it's critical to avoid doomerism. Here I mean doomerism, not just in the sense of believing doom is inevitable, which is both a false and self-fulfilling belief, but more generally, thinking about AI risks in a quasi-religious way.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that, yeah?
Yeah, I do too. Yeah.
He says, as of this year, the pendulum has swung, and AI opportunity, not AI risk, is driving many political decisions. Yes. This vacillation is unfortunate, as the technology itself doesn't care about what is fashionable, and we are considerably close to real danger in 2026 than we were in 2023. The lesson is that we need to discuss and address risks in a realistic, pragmatic manner, sober, fact-based, and well-equipped to survive changing tides. So he acknowledges the risk, but not the he says, many people have been thinking in an analytic and sober way about AI risks for many years, but it's my impression that during the last couple of years, some of the least sensible voices rose to the top through sensationalistic social media accounts. He says we need to acknowledge uncertainty. Yeah, we're definitely in the middle of that. No one can predict the future with complete confidence. We still have to do the best we can to plan anyway. I think I agree with that, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Intervene as surgically as possible. He says, to be clear, I think there's a decent chance we will eventually reach a point where much more significant action is warranted, but we will need stronger evidence of imminent concrete danger than we have today. The most constructive thing we can do today is advocate
I don't know what that
for
means.
limited. Well,
Yeah.
Right now, I would say what I would paraphrase that is right now, any talk about risks are speculative. It's imaginative.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's maybe not too smart to plan for imaginary risks. Wait until those risks are less imaginary and we can then do the right thing. He says the most constructive thing we can do today is advocate for limited rules while we learn whether or not there's evidence to support stronger ones. I think
it's a very convenient argument from the guy whose product would be hit by those rules being more than limited.
Well, but my contention is it's not just him that would be hit. I would be hit. All of us who are excited about and using AI, I think that, many of the constraints people are talking about would harm society, would be societally harmful.
Harm society how?
Because this thing is a remarkable tool. It would be like at the beginning of the internet saying, there's a lot of potential hazard here, which indeed there was, but we didn't know exactly what it was. Let's lock it down now.
I don't think anybody's arguing for it to be, I guess some people are arguing for everything.
I want it to pause.
But I think that there's a reasonable argument to be made that if this technology has even 1/5 of the promise that its boosters argue it does, that maybe you should take a slower and more measured approach to building it in its early phase.
There's a famous paper that I quoted in the Gutenberg parenthesis by James Dewar in 1998 when Google started up about looking at Elizabeth Eisenstein in the beginnings of, Gutenberg, and saying that the lesson of those kinds of innovations is let them go because you don't know what they're going to do until you get there, and then you adapt and you figure it out. And if you and the danger is that you delay an inevitability with a false comfort and think that that because you've delayed it, you know what it's going to do. All you've delayed is the questions you don't know the answers to yet.
I suppose in a vacuum or I suppose in those cases, yes. I think that it's foolish and impractical to assume that any technology like this can be delayed in any real sense, given the fact that even within our own country, we're in kind of an AI arms race, not to mention globally. But.
And just as foolish to believe that they're harmless.
He says... He does a thought experiment, which is kind of interesting. I'm curious what you think about it. He says, I think the best way to get a handle on the risks of AI is to ask the following question. This is a pure thought experiment. Suppose a literal, and he puts this in quotes, country of geniuses were to materialize somewhere in the world in, let's say, 2027. 50 million people, they're not really people, but 50 million entities, all of whom are much more capable than any Nobel Prize winner, statesman, or technologist. The analogy is not perfect because these geniuses could have an extremely wide range of motivations and behavior, from pliant and obedient to strange and alien. But sticking with the analogy for now, suppose you were the national security advisor of a major state responsible for assessing and responding to the situation. Imagine further that because AI systems can operate hundreds of times faster than humans, this country is operating with a time advantage relative to all other countries. For every cognitive action we can take, this country can take 10 or more, maybe hundreds. What should you be worried about? He says what he's worried about. First of all, do you think that premise is realistic?
No, that's ridiculous.
No, it's ridiculous.
Yes.
Okay, it's like, imagine if we lived in a world where there wasn't any oxygen and we were all on fire and the fire worked without oxygen and it was very, very hot and your mom was burning up faster, but your dad was also burning. What would you do? It's like,
okay.
I don't.
It's a hypothetical. I acknowledge. I don't think it's that far-fetched. I mean,
it's still tech triumphalism.
Okay.
1 year? Do you think that we're going to be at 50 million geniuses level of AI?
Here's why he says that. Because it does accelerate. Once AI starts to self-improve, which it's starting to do, a lot of Claude code is written by Claude Code now. It starts to accelerate at a very rapid pace. So yes, 1 year, a year ago, we are not that far ahead now. When we were a year ago, we are farther ahead. But imagine it's 10 times farther ahead in a year or 100 times farther ahead in 2 years. So that acceleration.
So what's he scared of?
Autonomy risks, number one. What are the intentions and goals of this country? Is it hostile? Does it share our values?
See, right there is a huge presumption that the machine can ever want something, that it ever has a desire.
Right.
Yeah, he's already equating them to people. He's equating it to people already. So he's saying that these are people.
So.
Exactly.
Yeah. Misuse for destruction. Assume the new country is malleable and follows instructions then. Okay, this is number 2. And is thus essentially a country of mercenaries. Could existing rogue actors who want to cause destruction, this seems much more likely, including terrorists, use or manipulate this new country of geniuses to make themselves more effective? That seems not at all far-fetched. Look how we're leveraging, look how I'm personally leveraging Claude Code now to do things to make me more powerful. I mean, it's more powerful in things like bookmarking stories for the show, but
I love the idea of you looking out over your spreadsheets of links being like, I've accumulated power.
I'm benevolent though, but what if I weren't?
As far as the eye can see,
I'm Ozymandias of the AI. But Steve was talking about this yesterday. There is a very significant malware that is fully AI generated running about now. And so there's no question that bad actors are using AI and they're getting that leverage. Now, I'm using the leverage for something stupid, but they're using the leverage for something very malicious. His third question, misuse for seizing power. What if the country was in fact built and controlled by an existing powerful actor? David Sachs, Xi Jinping, such as a dictator, a rogue corporate actor. Peter Thiel.
But that's true today with a company like Palantir.
Right.
It's true with
Alex Karp. Absolutely.
Yep.
Do we want Peter Thiel or Alex Karp to have infinite power?
Well, that's what we supposedly have regulations and laws for.
Well, but our current administration, in order that we don't fall behind China, is saying we better not have any of those because we've got a full speed ahead.
Right, with or without AI.
Project Genesis. Yeah. Fourth problem, economic disruption. If that new country is not a security threat, but simply participates peacefully in the global economy, could it cause severe risks simply by being so technologically advanced and effective it disrupts the global economy, causing mass unemployment or radically concentrating wealth? I think that's a legitimate concern. It wouldn't be on its own behalf, I don't think. I think it's probably best not to ascribe any volition on the part of this 50 million geniuses, but whoever wields them, Peter Thiel or, China, could easily use them to commandeer the global economy, maybe, yeah. Put a lot of people out of work. Amazon's firing
these are all societal problems.
People.
These are all societal problems. Yeah. It's like, this isn't a tech problem.
Right.
But it's a societal problem caused by tech.
No. In which tech is a tool of agents, but it doesn't have its own agency.
Well, yeah, and I agree with you. I've always said that. I said the problem with AI is not the AI, it's the people wielding it.
Yes.
So we can leave out the autonomy risk, the first hazard, but all the rest don't assume the autonomy, that there's volition on the part of the AI.
The problem here is that this is a societal problem and that they're trying to solve technologically, and that's not possible either.
Yeah. Well, if you're curious, I mean, this is really almost a book length piece. If you're curious, he goes into greater depth on this. You know what? I'm encouraged that Amodei is thinking about this stuff.
What 11 Labs voice should read it to me?
Oh, you know what? I could. Let's see. Who would you like to have?
Carl Sagan.
Carl Angelou read it.
I can have anybody you want read it. Let me just open
Feynman.
Oh, there is a Feynman voice. There is a Feynman voice. Okay. Let's see. I think it's Michael Caine still. It's loading the website right now. So you can give it a URL, which I just did. I gave it Dario's piece. And now it's going to...
The Adolescence of Technology, Confronting and Overcoming the Risks of Powerful AI, January 2026.
I like that voice.
There is a scene in the movie version of Carl Sagan's book, Contact, where the main character, an astronomer who has detected the first radio signal from an alien civilization, is being considered for the role of humanity's representative to meet the aliens.
I should pause it and get...
You see, they should also have one, though, where you could have Steve Martin as the jerk read it.
That would be fun. That would be fun. How do I change the voice on this? Let me see. Voices. Let's see.
It is deeply clear.
Let me see if I can get Feynman. Here's Feynman reading it.
I would rather have questions that can't be answered than answers that can't be questioned.
Hey, I'm talking here.
Wielded. In my essay, Machines of Loving Grace, I tried to lay out the dream of a civilization that had made it through to adulthood.
I don't love this.
You don't like that?
This is my issue. I feel like many of these readers just...
They're not human. They're not human.
I know.
Yeah, it does the voice really well, but it doesn't do like their personality at all.
Here, let's have John Wayne.
Not even the personality, but just the cadence of how someone would read a sentence.
Here's John Wayne reading it. What do you think? Maybe that'll make it more accessible. I like the Michael Caine voice. And they have a lot of non-celebrity voices, too. It's not perfect. I agree.
Global peace, and work and meaning. I felt it was important to give people something inspiring to fight for. A task at which both AI accelerationists, AI safety advocates seemed oddly to have failed.
There's
an evenness to it.
Yeah, it's a little too even, huh? Well, all right. Aren't we getting picky? I mean, it was only a few years ago that the computer voice sounded like this.
So, but that's what AI is going to do, right? It always tends towards the middle.
Oh, yeah.
How about
literally, it is going to tend towards
velvety actress voice. Let's have a velvety actress voice.
Want to confront the rite of passage itself, to map
That is
out
velvety,
the
I will
risks that
say.
we are about to face, and try to begin making a battle plan to defeat them.
So, I agree. It's not human. And if you're an actor, human narrator, you're not out of work yet. But there's no recording of this. And if I wanted to listen to this in the car, my eyes are tired. I don't want to read this, or it's in dark mode and I'm Jeff. Maybe you'd want to listen to it. I think that works. No? All right. Enough. You're watching Intelligent Machines. Jeff Jarvis, Paris Martineau. We're waiting for our guest who's going to show up pretty soon. We're going to talk to the president of Mozilla, Mark Surman, about the state of Mozilla that he just recently published. And I thought it was pretty good. Very good. Did you see the guy who's trying to raise corn with AI?
I didn't understand this at all.
Proofofcorn.com. Oh, I can't load it. It's being
There's
blocked.
no proof of corn? Or is this your weird extension that stops all new and fun websites?
That's what's running. Unfortunately.
Any extension that stops you from seeking out a website called proofofcorn.com is wrong.
I think it's, anyway, you can go to proofofcorn.com/.
Oh, I can clearly see this was generated by Claude because it's got the same sort of vibes as the Leo Tomato game.
The idea was he wanted an AI to see if the AI could put together a corn farm, basically, right? I don't know what the current state is because I haven't seen it lately. But
I was going to say Claude Code loves the one thing I made with Claude Code kind of looks like this. It loves this framing for its websites.
Describe it because I can't show it. Or maybe Benito can show it. I don't know.
A heavily padded, it's a white background, heavy padding on either side, central column of things. It's got a couple little I don't know how to describe whatever is going on with the corn. It describes itself as an autonomous agricultural agent, monitoring fields, responding to partnerships evolving daily.
It's trying to buy land so it can raise corn.
Oh, as of January 25th, Fred operates completely independently. Every day at 6 a.m. UTC, he wakes up, checks weather across 3 regions, reviews his inbox, composes partnership emails, sends them. No human prompting required. But what is he trying to do? He's trying to buy land? Fred's thinking is, Iowa is frozen solid. Been through worse. We wait.
So, no corn yet. Here's another use. Now, that's a harmless use of AI. The Trump administration says the Department of Transportation is going to use AI to write its regulations going forward. The DOT's top lawyer said they don't need the perfect rule. They just want good enough. This is a ProPublica investigation. By the way, great illustration on the ProPublica webpage. What do you think? They're going to use Google's Gemini, at least they're not using Grok, to draft new transportation regulations?
No, I don't think we should be doing this. Already the issue is with our regulation that it is so cumbersome and overly rotten, opaque that there's God knows what stuck in there. I don't need an AI to be throwing its proverbial hat in the ring in influencing what ends up on our legal books.
This is the sad thing. The sad state of the affairs right now in the United States government is that, and I understand it all started when Ronald Reagan said the scariest words in the English language are, we're the government and we're here to help, which really turned a lot of people against the idea that government could, in fact, help. And maybe there's more bureaucracy than there should be. I don't deny that. Maybe there's waste. But there's also a huge number of people with great expertise in these areas who were committed public servants who are really trying to do the right thing, especially in the Department of Transportation. Many of them have been chased out of government. So the Trump administration's plan is to replace those experts with expert systems. And in fact, they say this is just the first agency that is fully enabled to use AI to draft rules. The plan is to do it everywhere. According to ProPublica, these developments have alarmed some at DOT. The agency's rules touch every facet of transportation safety. Get ready, including regulations to keep planes in the sky, prevent gas pipelines from exploding, and stop freight trains from carrying toxic chemicals from going off the rails. Why would the government use such nascent technology, notorious for making mistakes, to write these? The answer from the government: speed. Writing and revising complex federal regulations can take months, sometimes years, but with DOT's version of Google Gemini,
why does it take months, sometimes years? Because those things become law, and we want to make sure that
this is part of the devaluation of government.
Yeah.
This is a way to say the government doesn't matter. Any machine can make it.
It's straight out of Ronald Reagan's playbook, and it's just gotten worse and worse. With DOT's version of Gemini, employees could generate a proposed rule in a matter of minutes or even seconds. Hey, is that really what we want? If really, is that your priority? We want and we don't want it to cost anything. We want it to be instantaneous. In any case, most of what goes into the preambles of regulatory documents is just word salad, one staffer recalled a presenter saying. It doesn't matter. It's just word salad.
You know what you lose
Gemini could do word salad.
You know what you lose when you go fast and cheap, right? You lose good.
Yeah. The goal is to dramatically compress the timeline in which regulations are produced, such as they could go from idea to complete draft ready for review by the Office of Information and Regulatory Affairs in just 30 days. Shouldn't take more than 20 minutes to get a draft rule out of Gemini, they said.
They don't like regulations, so they don't want to make it easier to make. You think they want to make it harder to make.
They think regulations don't matter, and honestly, they don't care. I think that's the case, right?
When in fact, most if you're a business, most of your interaction with government power is not through law, it's through the regulations that result. It's through agencies.
Yeah.
Interpretation of law.
I'm sorry,
academics
I've
and
been in
researchers.
Fred for a minute, and Fred's
How's Corn
plan
Fred
is
doing? Yeah.
Fred's plan is to open a Union Square farmers market stand in August 2026 with all the corn it being Claude code has grown. It's currently has sent 7 emails, including one that says something to the effect of, "Hello, fellow corn husker," to a person who I suppose might be able to connect Claude code with the ability to grow corn.
But see, this is what's interesting, because we live in a kind of an economy. This is civilization, right? Where you don't actually have to touch corn to grow, sell corn, right? You just have to send an email or two and transfer some money over. That all of this can be done by remote control. And that's really one of the kind of key things that happened in civilization. You used to have to grow your own food, or somebody would have to go out in the field and make food. Somebody still has to do that, but it's now completely done autonomously by agents.
That's capital and labor.
Yeah, that's right. Capital and labor. That's right. And that division.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is a really interesting project. I hope he plans to really actually sell corn.
Trying, they're pursuing contracts with someone from Purdue Agri-Food right now.
This is hysterical.
Chad from Nebraska is labeled as a hot lead. The rationale for that is it could be a strong collaboration potential with experienced farmer father, clear land availability, and aligned interests in AI. Good starting point for proof of concept.
Wow.
We'll have to check back in a couple of months to see if...
Did you see that Wikipedia hired a bunch of volunteers? They went through all of the AI direct that was posted on Wikipedia and elsewhere, and they created a draft, a guide to spotting AI writing, which of course is immediately used to tell Claude Code. There's a now Claude Code skill called Humanizer that takes all of that information the Wikipedia volunteers put together and tells Claude Code how to avoid any chatbot giveaways. The plugin is on GitHub, 1,600 stars as of Monday. It's really handy, writes the author, Siqi Chen. Really handy that Wikipedia wet and collated a detailed list of signs of AI writing, so much so that you can just tell your LLM not to do that. Oh boy!
There's an app that I mentioned in Hot Type called Qwen GPT to humanize your writing.
Perfect.
Hey, maybe just write it yourself and you'll humanize your writing, no problem.
Yeah, maybe that's a great way to humanize your writing.
Why do it yourself when you get the machine to do it?
Why do anything yourself when you can just have the machine do every fun, interesting, or meaningful thing in your life?
I don't really want to raise corn.
And,
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. I feel dubious about Fred's corn raising potential. He's got between today and February 5th to secure a land partnership. March, Fred's plan is to deploy Internet of Things sensors and prep soil. Then planting day is April 20th, and they're doing an 80-day sweet corn variety. Then they've got to figure out all of the licensing, harvest it in July, and then
Did he give it
transport it to
money?
New York City. Yeah.
Does Fred has real money?
Fred has some real money, and you can see how much of it's spent.
How much has it spent so far?
Where are you, Fred's money?
This is proofofcorn.com/Fred.
The total investment is $2,532.99.
Okay.
It expects $4,000 in revenue.
See, if it doubles its money every year, in 10 years, it could be a monster.
I don't know that farming is that profitable. I think
maybe it's over-optimistic.
Isn't corn one of the ones that has to be subsidized by the U.S. government in order for it to make work?
Maybe.
Yeah, that's it. It's finding all the subsidy loopholes and taking all that.
Right. I mean, it'd probably be very good at that.
Doesn't have anything about subsidies on here, to be honest.
It could make the regulations and violate them at the same time. It could be like it's like a Ouroboros.
Paris, I'm smelling a Consumer Reports food story here.
It does say that if
you got to write a story about this.
It does say that if it goes to Union Square Market, that they're inviting press for that.
Oh yeah, Union Square in New York, I presume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where else?
Actually, I don't know.
Actually,
yes,
it's got to
be. Yeah, it is talking about New York City.
Haven't forgotten your roots.
Is there a farmer's market there?
No. There used to be a Macy's there, but not anymore.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Oh, that's gone?
My question is, how are they planning on harvesting this corn? Where is the budget for labor to harvest? But where is the budget for that?
It's all built into the contract.
Capital and labor.
It is. They do plan. They have a lot of stuff about the stand at Union Square on here, and not many details about the corn harvesting. They plan on having a sign that says AI to table, proof of corn, an iPad with live weather irrigation dashboard.
Get that figured out.
A human representative to roast the corn and explain.
Oh, it's roasted. Oh, they're not just selling raw.
I don't think it understands how the Union Square green market works. It's not typically
There's no fires there, no.
You know what they should do? They should go to the Christmas market. Where is that? I love that little Christmas market.
Also, there's one in Union Square. There's there's like a dozen.
Because they have
the probability of success in August 2026 is 25%. At least it's being realistic.
I think it's a good project.
Proof of corn.
You know what? Let's think of something we could do. What would be better? What would be a better thing we could get Claude to do? I'll give it $1,000. What should we have it do?
Okay, I will.
A lot of
while
people
we
trying to
think
make
of
money
this,
in the market.
I want to just. This is in about proof of corn on proof of corn/about. This guy Seth was walking with his friend in San Francisco. They have a little dialogue at 8:15 p.m. as they're walking towards the hotel. Seth, I can do anything I want with software from my terminal. Fred, that's not true. You can't grow corn.
Oh, maybe it's Union Square San Francisco.
No, it's definitely Union Square, New York City, based on the documents. You know what I mean? I'm going to grow corn for you. That'd be great. Thank you. I'm going to figure it out, and I'm going to show you. And that'll be our first vibe coding project together. It's a physical thing. I will buy effing land with an API via my terminal, and I will hire some service to plant corn.
There you go. This is our future.
Is it? And do we want that? Do we want our future to be two guys deciding on the walk to their hotel in San Francisco that they're going to use their API through a terminal to buy corn?
Now, Paris, if I said it was an art project, you would go, oh, this is funny. This is cool.
I'm not saying it's not. I don't find it funny.
Oh, she's amused.
I'm very amused.
Yeah. The CEO of Mistral, the French AI, says, China lagging behind in AI is not true. It's a fairy tale. Arthur Mensch. China is not behind the West. This is on Bloomberg Television at Davos. The capabilities of China's open source technology is probably stressing the CEOs in the U.S. Mm-hmm. And you know what? That Alibaba text to speech, that's an open source model that's running on Hugging Face. I should say open weights. I don't like open source. So even if they're 6 months behind, that's not that much behind, and they'll probably speed up. So if it's not corn, would you accept Pokemon as a test of AI's intelligence?
What are they doing to the Pokemon?
Jeff, what do you have against Pokemon?
What are they doing to Pokemon?
I was rid of that 15 years ago. It always bored me. I never understood it. I thought this will go away, but no, it's got to come back.
Do you see the people out wandering around in the streets with their Pokemon Go's?
My wife. Frankly.
You could Pokemon Go to the polls right now, Jeff.
Let me just. I have a little Pokemon Go right here.
I never played that. I loved playing the
fun.
Pokemon games back in the day.
I'm surprised you didn't get into Pokemon Go. They're not playing, by the way, Pokemon Go, because you have to actually get out of the house to do that. They're playing the original games that you played, the Pokemon games. Let's just see if there's any Pokemon in my neighborhood here. Oh, yes. Let's see.
Have you been on top of it? Are you your gym leader?
There's a wild Dunsparce right there. Look at that.
Right in front of you?
Right in front of me. Let me just go throw my... I'm an expert in the spinning
Are you just throwing the balls? You're not having to fight it? I think that's dumb.
You have to fight it later if you go into the gyms, and there's a battle. Yeah.
Why do you swirl it around?
Because it's better. You get more. You're more likely to trap it if you do a little spin ball. That's the spin ball there. You get a little extra English on the thing. What's this? Oh, look at that. That's a wild Lechonk. I love the Lechonk.
I do like the Lechonk.
Lechonk's great. It's a pig
great
of
name.
some sort. Yeah. So yeah, you spin it. You didn't know about this? You spin it, and that way you're more likely to catch it in your Pokeball. Anyway, you could see that an AI could probably do this better than I can. This is from the Wall Street Journal. We're all a bunch of nerds, said the man behind the trend. Silicon Valley, at the world's top AI labs, are using the original Pokemon games as a popular way to track the progress and abilities of AI models and figure out how to deploy them toward time-consuming, complex goals. You can watch them on Twitch and elsewhere. Dave Hershey, who is applied AI lead at Anthropic, says it provides us with this great way, man, to see how a model is doing and evaluate it in a quantitative way. They like Pokemon Blue. Hershey is the architect, and you've probably seen this on Twitch, of Claude Plays Pokemon. Have you seen that, right?
Yeah.
And there's also GPT Plays Pokemon. Gemini Plays Pokemon.
Yeah, so it's about as smart. So it's as smart as a Twitch chat room is how smart that is then.
Yeah, right. That's right, because they did that,
smart
didn't they?
as me at 8 years old.
The streams of Claude, GPT, and Gemini playing Pokemon on Twitch have collectively racked up hundreds of thousands of comments as the models chart their progress in real time. Wait, I see it now, Claude posted on its stream. The X equals 11 wall has an opening at Y equals 10 to 12. Anyway. This is just one of those lifestyle pieces on the Wall Street Journal.
You know what I love for 2 seconds? Is your symbol WTF.
Oh, this is useful.
What?
Actually, I think I deleted it because I didn't think we'd have time for it.
Well, I figure I'm killing 2 minutes before Mark comes.
Yeah, Mark's going to be here any moment now. We're going to talk to the president.
The subject from Pokemon.
Yeah, you're probably right. I deleted it. Let me go to the...
Was it symbol.wtf?
It's symbol.wtf, but I don't know what I'm looking at.
So you click it. So here's the thing. It's very hard when you're on a phone or anywhere else to figure out how to type in the trademark symbol, right? Well, all you have to do here is click it.
Oh, I do know this.
And then it puts it on your clipboard and you paste it right in. That's all.
I mean, you can just type in the words trademark
in many
symbol,
cases. But how about this?
And then you get it
this?
right up there.
Could you do the Myanmar thingamajob? This has a lot of nice little symbols. And actually, it's helpful on... It really
does act. Whoa,
it's
I
helpful
like the
on Linux
asterism.
Because
it's useful for the arrows, up, down, left, right. Those are useful.
On Linux, on Mac, you have easy access to this stuff with there's an emoji key and so forth. But it feels like it should have more. This doesn't seem like the full set.
Yeah, there's so many more characters.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed. I do like it, though. My E in my name, the E accent aigu, or E with a cute accent, is right there, and I could just paste that in. Because as many of the time I've had to figure out how to...
You can also just hold the E.
Hold down the E.
And it pops up.
On an Apple device, maybe.
I suppose.
Can you do it on Android?
Of course.
On Windows, you used to have to type Alt 0170 on the keyboard to get it to. It was such a pain in the butt. Yeah, Apple's made that much easier. Thank you.
Actually,
Apple.
on the latest episode of Hands on Windows, Paul shows you how to do this easily on Windows. Yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, now I have to watch Hands on Windows. Oh, no, wait a minute. I don't, because I don't use Windows.
Wow. Line in the sand.
We're going to take a little break, and when we come back, Mark Surman, the president of Mozilla, will join us. I am a devout Firefox user because I don't want Chrome to eat the world. And I think that Mozilla has some challenges. It's a challenging time for Firefox and Mozilla, but they have a plan. The 2026 State of Mozilla. Doing for AI what we did for the web, coming up in just a bit with the new president, relatively new president of Mozilla, Mark Surman. You're watching Intelligent Machines. That guy who's about to pass out because he's exhausted is Jeff Jarvis. Jeff, I mean, you can if you want to take a nap, there's a bed right over there. Just don't pull the comforter off. Yep. Okay. Just leave the.
At any given moment, a cane is going to emerge from the side of the screen and pull Jeff off. Jeff injures himself a third time trying to do a bit.
That is Paris Martineau. I still say, Paris, you should come up with something like corn that we could do.
I should come up with a classic crop. Yes. I think that would be a great boon for me.
Avoiding the radioactivity.
Why don't I just come up with the next corn?
Pork bellies. Point. What's a commodity?
Oil.
Sorghum.
Let's all do sorghum.
In what sense?
I don't know. I just feel like that we could do this. We don't have to do corn. We can do anything we want. What commodity? What enterprise should we embark? Let me put it this way. I spend $250 a month on Claude Max. Let's do something with it.
This is going to be the classic Next Planet Money episode.
Oh, we got Mark.
All right.
Hello.
Yay.
Joins us now. He is the president of Mozilla. And just generated a wrote. I think he wrote it with his own hands. Very exciting.
I sewed it with a thread.
Manifesto, the Mozilla Manifesto. Mark, it's a pleasure to meet you. Thank you for joining us on Intelligent Machines.
Oh, thanks for having me. It's exciting to be here.
And I will preface this as I have before with my gratitude to Mozilla. I'm a devoted Firefox user, because I don't think we should be in a monoculture when it comes to browsers. I should confess that while I do use Firefox, I most often use a Firefox fork called the Zen browser. Is that okay?
Yeah, I mean, the world needs that kind of diversity of browsers. I love Zen browser, and so it's not only okay, it's great.
Oh, good.
That's why it's open source. Fork it,
fork it.
Lots of things, right?
Fork it, folks.
I have a guy who just joined me working as our CTO, and his thing is we don't want 3, 4, 5 AGIs. Like if that's the direction we're going, we need 7 billion, right?
Yes,
this should be open. Fork it, make it yours.
Yes. So that same philosophy that Mozilla applies to Firefox, you want to apply to AI.
Exactly. I think we grew up. Firefox grew up, Mozilla grew up. I wasn't here at the time, but I was a fan in a tech monoculture around the web with Microsoft and Firefox, Linux, Wikipedia, all those things. They challenged that and they turned it around. And I think we're going into, or we're right in the middle of, a much more consequential monoculture. And it's time to break it open, do something beautiful, big, joyous, different, diverse with AI.
You've been with Mozilla a while. You were executive director in 2008. Did that for 15 years, became president just a couple of years ago. I think, a challenging time for the Mozilla organization. Mozilla's percentage in the browser market is down to single digits.
It is. And it's challenging for a couple of reasons. That's one, is remaining relevant when, the browser market is basically locked down by people who bundle their browsers with Android, with iOS, with Windows. I mean, really the dynamics of the browser market are kind of back to where they were before we started, which is people just use what comes with their device. And it's very hard to be an independent browser. And we make something great, we believe. We're going to make it greater. But it's tough. So that's one challenge. And we have a new CEO of the Firefox organization, Anthony DeMeo, and I think he's got great plans, not just to figure out what AI means in Firefox. We can talk about that in a little bit, but just to make it something that people want to switch to. But they've got to want to switch. It doesn't come with their phone. And then, but I don't actually think that's the biggest challenge for the Mozilla organization. I think the biggest challenge for the Mozilla organization is we're web people. And the thing that defines where the tech industry is going is AI, is data. And we come from an era of saying we don't want to touch any data. We're about privacy. We're still about privacy. We're still about user control. But the challenge for us is we have to figure out what that means in a world that is totally different than the world when we started. And that's a lot of what we've been trying to work on when we say we want to do for AI what we did for the web. It means bringing in new people who know how to build AI that protects your privacy, who know how to build AI that kind of is designed around human values. So that's what we're trying to figure out right now. And I think that's actually the bigger challenge than market share.
You're also
Mark, can I
putting
ask
your
you a question?
money. Let me just finish this because I think it's important. You're also putting your money where your mouth is. You've committed $650 million to this effort. That I didn't even know Mozilla had that kind of.
Well, we actually have almost $1.5 billion in the bank, and that 650 is a bit more than we earned this year. So
most of that comes from Google, from search.
So the biggest part of the revenue comes from search, about 85% of that.
That's why I was a little worried when the Google trial was going on, that one of the remedies was that Google stops giving money to not just Apple,
we have known
to
for
you guys.
a long time that we need to diversify. And that's why, the Google revenue and the search revenue has actually gone down from about 95% to about 85%. I don't know exact numbers. And because we are building new things. And the first of those that's working is, the best in class privacy-oriented ads that you can see in Firefox. And if you want a different direction for the ad industry, we're actually building that, and it's starting to be a part of how we support ourselves.
Nice. Go ahead, Jeff. I'm sorry.
Sorry, before we go on, Mark, if you're seeing Leo's screen, you're going to want to go to the top of the Zoom window and click on meeting, and then you'll see everybody.
Up in the top left. You're seeing your little cute little Firefox animation. You want to see yourself. There you go. Yeah.
But that didn't break anything from before, right?
No, not at all. It's just
you did tell me to do that, and I did, and then I was like, oh, this looks fun. I like seeing the Firefox window. Is that part of the show?
It will be, yeah. I love how, by the way, great job on this. I love how it loads with the command line, and it's great. If it does it too fast, unfortunately, because I want to read all the things.
It's trying to trick you. Well, not trying to trick you, but it's trying to, just kind of dazzle you.
Show it right now, Benito, because I'm going to launch it, and you can see. There you go.
Cute.
Isn't that great? Love that. It goes so fast, though. You don't.
And really these videos. Look at these cool videos with the little panda. What's interesting about that panda?
Is that a trash panda or is that a Firefox?
No, it's a kind of a cousin of a Firefox. It's trying to bring you in. It's a red panda. We had a lot of people say that is just AI slop. Mozilla's going doing these crappy AI videos. That is handmade CGI. That is, the work of computer artists, just so you know.
Nice.
I guess this also goes to a large point is how have you handled the backlash from users about kind of rolling out more AI-centric tools, rolling out more advertising, even when it is couched in this well-intentioned attempt to make a more private advertising experience? How have you kind of navigated that? Because Mozilla's user base, I think, is unique in that Firefox users are nerds, by and large.
Yeah, I mean, people. Well, and I am them, right?
Yeah.
People don't freak out when OpenAI puts out an Atlas browser. They're like, whatever. And we start figuring out what we're going to do with this browser. People care. People care about Firefox. And so, the key is, and we've always had to navigate this, being there with products that meet people where they are. Like people are using AI. You have this, ChatGPT is like the fastest growing product ever in history, certainly in internet history. I use different AI things because they're helpful for some things. There's also a lot of slop. There's also a lot of reasons to hate it. So how do you hold the values of privacy, of choice, of control, and meet people where they are and where they're going? And so the needle to thread is that balance. And so how we're tackling that is to start a conversation with people, partly by doing what we did in this report and say, we're not trying to build the AI you hate. We're trying to build something different. And so if you do want to opt in, we're going to build something different. We want to build it with you. We want to figure out what that looks like. And the other way to handle it is let you opt out. So Firefox will let you turn off all the AI as we layer in more features. And that's a key piece, right? We, unlike almost anybody, have always been about choice. You can go up in that little bar in Firefox and say, I want to search in Google. I want to search in Bing. I want to search in DuckDuckGo. I want to search in, one of, I think there's probably 100 different search engines you can turn on as your default. And that's going to be the same thing with AI. You can pick between open source things. You can pick between Gemini. You can pick between turning it all off. So having a conversation by building things about what AI looks like that's different has to happen through the product. And then you got to give people choices. So, people haven't seen us do that yet. So you got to suspend your disbelief, which is a hard thing to ask people to do. So, the only way to get there is through, maybe, is that simple answer.
Yeah.
Mark, I think I'm old enough to remember when in the early days, my children, we didn't just have browser wars, we had server wars.
Yep.
Right, the Netscape server, the open market server, and then along comes Apache, which enables an infrastructure for everybody. And I wonder whether that's a possible model, not on the consumer product side, but on the kind of what we used to think of as the server side of AI. Do you think that we're going to end up with things that become truly open enough that we can all use them and choose from them in a similar way?
I sure hope so. And we're doing everything we can to help that happen. And if you kind of look back, it wasn't just Apache, it was Linux, it was MySQL. Yep. You had this whole thing that if you're nerdy and old like us, you call it the LAMP stack. And what happened then was Microsoft actually owned, I was a web developer in the mid 90s when the web was blowing up, owned the whole server stack for web developers. And then all these different pieces, Apache, Linux, they came together and they were a free and open alternative that you could hack on. And Linux, when I started as a web developer mid 90s, I think was about 6% market share. It's now 80% of the servers in the world. It is the thing that developers just use. And so can that happen? Yes. Will it happen again with AI, that developers turn to open source? I think this year or 2027 will be the year that people switch. And it might actually...
What are the keys you're going to do to, how are you going to facilitate that?
Well, let me say two things. Why do I think it's going to happen and what are we going to do? So why do I think it's going to happen is two things. One is just on the kind of open source and open weights models, they're catching up in capabilities. So you kind of see a curve where, the closed stuff and the open stuff, for most use cases that people are going to build into an app, they're kind of there. And at the same time, serving up, it's not free. It's not like software. You still got to pay for inference. Serving up these open source models is about 20% of the cost of building on top of a Claude or a ChatGPT API. So you have capabilities going up and you have costs coming down. Those things are meaning that people are going to switch. One of the biggest kind of blockers to this is that it's still all very hard to use. And there's so much stuff all spread out, much like Linux was before Linux distributions, right? You could go get a PC or download it there. So we have a company, Mozilla AI, 100% focused on developers, 100% focused on encouraging developers to choose open source AI. And what it does is it has, a bunch of libraries, software libraries. It's now got one hosted product in beta called any LLM. And it does exactly what you imagine. As a developer, here's a thing that just like is a magical tool that lets you switch between this LLM, that LLM, but also any guardrail, any agent, things that make it easy to just adopt from this ecosystem as it comes along. So that's one of the big things we're doing. But you'll also see in that report, we talk about gathering some sort of rebel alliance.
I love that, by the way. Thank you for using that.
It's evocative. It's corny, but it's evocative.
Yeah.
And lots of other people, and this is the key to what happened, with what you're talking about 20 years ago, Jeff. Lots of other people are going at their piece of changing the game. Mm-hmm. And what we're going to do is we're going to invest in them. We're going to work with them. We're going to amplify them. And, that is actually the way that it kind of pushes the tide into open source winning in the AI era.
A very important question, Mark. Do you have a Rebel Alliance helmet, uniform, tattoo?
Or a tattoo?
One of the nice things about the Rebel Alliance, is you don't have uniforms. And, that's the whole thing that, you started with Leo is like you use a different browser. You want diversity of browsers. If you have people who are a kind of ragtag group who all have their own itch to scratch, their own way of dressing, like driving towards the same but kind of different future, I think you get a much richer thing. And that's the uniform I'm wearing.
Love it. So what is that 650 million going to go toward? Where does that money go?
We're kind of like in the answer to that. We're kind of like in the boring first week of your business school class. It's not very complicated. It is 80% of that goes towards our existing core products. We want Firefox to be great, and we just keep investing in it being great. It's not like that has changed, and that's where the money comes from in the first place. And also Thunderbird, people don't remember, we have a very privacy-centric
I love Thunderbird.
email client. Still has 20 million people around the world that use it, grew by 10% last year because people want to go back to a privacy-oriented email experience. And so 80% of it just goes to keeping doing that. And then we've taken 20% and really pushed it at this challenge of creating trustworthy, open source AI that you can, rely on. And so that means playing with this idea of a trusted AI mode in Firefox, where you have to opt into it. It'll be a separate window in the same way you have like a regular Firefox window. You can have a private window. You'll have an AI window. And that gives us a place to experiment with a different way of doing AI. And if you want to play with it and use it, you can. If you don't, you don't have to. So that's some of that 20%. Another 20% is going after just what Jeff is asking about is, the developer marketplace. So that's the Mozilla AI, any LLM kind of type of approach. That is a company we're likely to spin out called Mozilla Data Collective, which is a two-sided marketplace for ethical training data, which sounds like a lot of words, but is really people who've got valuable data who want to set the terms of how AI users, AI companies use it. And it really, that's a missing thing in the world. And then the other piece is really just rallying the public. I mean, our Mozilla Foundation group is working with creatives in Hollywood and activists in all parts of the world. Actually, not just Hollywood, even Bollywood. They're going to do an event in India next month. People of all sorts who are not the AI builders per se. They're people who have a stake in where technology goes to imagine a very different future. There's a lot of creative work there. So that's the kind of mix of it. And then underneath, there's something that is pretty new to us, is we're using kind of an ethical approach, a responsible approach to venture investing in companies that might make the next Firefox, who are trying to build something different, and helping them along. So there is a piece of that 20% that is going towards responsible tech companies through venture investing.
I just want to really support this because you're the group that should be doing this. You've always
we're all the group, Leo, that should be doing this. But Mozilla at its best. And
you have a lot of trust, I guess, is what I'm saying.
Well, thank you. I mean, I hope we are worthy of it, because I would say there are moments where it feels like we've lost our way, or certainly people have worried that
Thunderbird, for instance, was abandoned for a while.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I mean, you're tracking this well. So, I mean, it wasn't abandoned. I was one of the people who never for 1 second abandoned it and kept it in the family. But it was that the Firefox group was like, yeah, this Thunderbird thing, email's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So we held it in the foundation, and then we helped it set up its own company. It's still built so much by the community.
Good.
But I think I'm glad that people still trust us. I hope we're worthy of it, and we keep building that. And it is really, all of us are needed. Like Mozilla at its best is, it's kind of boring old trope that for many people, but I always love going back to it. When Firefox launched, there was this 2-page ad in the New York Times that was the Firefox logo made up of the names of everybody who donated to buy that ad. Because
awesome.
People wanted this thing to win. And that's the energy we need to get back again, right? Is so many people are pissed off about AI. They don't trust it. They're worried about, they don't like these companies. There's so many reasons. And all of us need to band together to make something different. And guess what? Doing that and succeeding at that, I believe, is a far more plausible and interesting thing to do than putting data centers on the moon.
We're talking to Mark Surman. He's the president of Mozilla and has just released their Mozilla manifesto. They want us all to join the Rebel Alliance. We're really glad to help you and support you in that. I've always been a fan of Firefox. I've always been a believer, and I've always wanted Firefox to succeed. I've been a little worried. You got a little heat too when it was announced that we were going to add AI to Firefox. There's a lot of people who say, I don't want a browser with AI. Vivaldi even said, we're never going to put AI in our browser. Although
that was very funny what Vivaldi did.
Because they said,
the
until
CEO
it's
came
good.
out and he just said, here's our roadmap. No AI. Bye. Look, we don't exist for one set of people. That's the point of Firefox. Like, some people are going to want AI that comes from the big guys. Go do that. And you can actually do it through Firefox. Some people want a different version of AI. We're going to build that with them. And some people want no AI. And that is the difference of Firefox. On the one end, you have Google and Apple and Microsoft. They're going to just shove their AI into their browser, into Gmail, into Office, into everything. And you're going to have to take what you get.
Right.
And then the other end of the spectrum, you have a Vivaldi of no AI. That's actually not the real world. The real world is people are worried about that vertically integrated lock-in big player stuff. And people think this stuff is useful. Of course, lots of people are going to want to opt out of AI altogether. We're also there for that. But there's a real gap in the world of running straight into the problem of we have to build this stuff differently if we want to use it. And that's what we're going to do.
It's really clear. I mean, one of the reasons I use Firefox is really clear that with Chrome and the Chromium engine, it's developed by one of the largest ad companies in the world. And so their incentives, moving to Manifest v3, for instance, really are in making sure that the ecosystem is good for their business. And that's not Firefox's incentive. And so I think
that may be, that may be people aren't tracking the Manifest v3, v2 thing, but, basically that goes in Chromium and makes it so ad blockers don't work anymore, right?
Yeah.
And we actually left v2 compatibility in Firefox so people could still block ads. And that's the kind of classic Mozilla ability to hold tension. Yes, does 85% of our revenue come from Google? Yes, because people use Google to search. They like it.
That's how the revenue comes. We should say, when you use the search bar, if Google's a default search, there's referral fees that go back to Mozilla.
Or if you search in Bing or whatever. So does most of our revenue come from search advertising? Yes. Do we allow ad blockers? So are we the browser now that blocks the most ads in the world?
Yes.
And so holding that tension is the kind of thing that Mozilla is good at.
Yeah, as long as I can use uBlock Origin, I'm happy. In fact, when you install Firefox now, you propose Privacy Badger, a number of extensions that are very privacy forward. I think that's fantastic.
And what we haven't figured out yet is, so we'll continue to do that, and I'm proud of that.
Yeah.
What's the equivalent for AI? So what is it that if I want more control, I want more privacy, what are the things that we're going to offer? Who's got the extensions? What features are we going to build? I think that's what's interesting at this moment, right? When Mozilla started, it was just basically a clone of the Netscape browser from the early 90s, the mid 90s. And Firefox was like, what else are we going to do with this Netscape code and turn it into something special? So like, guess what it did? It added pop-up blockers. Like that was a crazy thing at the time. We were all inundated by pop-up ads. And so I think we're in a moment where we've got to figure out not only how do we give you privacy badger, all of those things, but what is the next privacy badger? What is the next pop-up blocker? What's going to let us engage with this new era of technology, but on terms that feel better for us? And that's a pretty cool moment of invention to be in.
Yeah. You know, one of the things that there's been ups and downs with Firefox. I've defended it all along, but there were moments when I was hard to defend. What's your position on progressive web apps now, PWAs? Because for a while you were not supporting those.
So over time, we're evolving to kind of go with it. But what was the issue with progressive web apps? I mean, maybe I tuned out to that. You're way more in
I wanted you to support it, but in order to use progressive web apps, Apple didn't really want to support it. Safari had kind of very weak support. You had to use Chrome. And I didn't want to use Chrome, but I wanted the idea of progressive web apps. To me, seemed like a very, very good idea at the time. Now, maybe there were technical reasons. That's the thing. It's complicated, and as you point out, you've kind of changed direction a little bit in that.
And I think whenever there's a shift in the technology, progressive web apps is one I remember. Going way back, you can hardly remember this. I mean, you may be able to, but like
you can tell I can remember it, and Jeff can remember.
But maybe collectively we don't remember. There's a time that all the videos in the browser were in Flash, which was this weird plugin that wasn't a kind of web standard. And then the different browsers, like who's going to put in HTML5 videos? So it's like video in the web, all of these things. When you get to a change like that, and progressive web apps is a thing like that, it's not a standard yet. It's like people experimenting with what can work in the different browsers.
Right.
So I think the progressive web apps thing is more like that. It's like we're working out collectively as an industry, what's going to happen when. Do we think it's the right thing? So, we usually, when it's the right thing, we come along over time. And more often than not, we're the vanguard. I mean, a lot of the stuff, like around tracking protection, many other things, Firefox has been the vanguard before the other browsers.
I don't know if you get the credit for this, but I have to say in the last 3 or 4 years, Firefox has improved immensely in speed, memory usage. Firefox Sync has gotten better and better and better. It really is now the kind of the state of the art. I think in every respect, people who perhaps said, well, there's still this perception that Chrome is faster, for instance, and maybe it is marginally faster. I don't know. But the Firefox engine has gotten better and better and better. I think if people who are listening have said, oh, I don't want to use Firefox, really ought to try it. Because I think it's so important that we have this choice.
I don't take credit for that. The Firefox team does, and that's a part of
they've done a good job.
Mozilla family, and they've done an amazing job.
Yeah.
And it was a huge lift. Like we fell behind on speed for sure, and a bunch of things, compatibility. And Google just like leaned in hard, and we lost the ball a little bit. But the Firefox organization has really grabbed it back, and you have a leader, which I'm excited about Anthony as the leader of the Firefox organization, because he is a technologist. He came in and he turned up the gas on Firefox in the last year. He came in to be the head of Firefox. And then you have that person leading that whole company now, Mozilla Corporation. And he has a vision. He's got the team galvanized, motivated, focused to just make Firefox great.
Well, great. Well, thank Anthony for me then, because
I will. Well, you should get him on.
Yeah, we will. We will. I'd love to, Mark. And I thank you for your leadership in all of this, especially in AI. I think and maybe Jeff, you got to write this book, because I think the history of the browser is really fascinating, because at first it was just a window into the internet. It was how you accessed the internet. it has become basically the operating system. For you, Jeff, on a
For
Chromebook,
Jeff, yes,
that's
it
all
is
you
the
have
operating system.
is a browser. And I think that it's the role of the browser in our lives is significant, and it does pose significant technical challenges. I understand that with DRM video and all these kind of complicated standards or non-standards that you have to adhere to. I think Mozilla has done a great job of threading its way through this complexity.
Well, the other thing is you mix the technological sophistication and work with the ethical considerations. I mean, I was delighted.
That's why I still work here. I mean, I know you said I've been here a long time, but that's why I still work here. I mean, there's very few places you can do that.
I mean, when Mozilla did its Mastodon instance, I was delighted when you did it, sad when you left it. I understood why you left it. But the important thing to me was that you dealt with ethical issues around social as well as freedom.
I want to point out my Mastodon instance still uses Mozilla's rules, Mozilla's privacy statement, all of that stuff. I said, this is the way it should be done. These are the rules we agree to adhere to in terms of moderation and everything. You guys are really great.
I mean, two things I would say about that. One is the original Mozilla manifesto. I mean, right now, the state of Mozilla you're referring to, Leo, is just kind of us re-upping on that in the AI era. But it was never meant to be like our rule set only. And I know you mean a different rule set when you're talking about the Mastodon thing. It was meant to be a call to action of like people to build technology aligned with human values.
Yes.
And I think that's still durable today, whatever that is, 15, 18 years later. It was written in 2007. And so, it's not just us, it's like others with those values. And I think probably if there's a place where maybe we lost our way or maybe lost our edge more, it is we only get to a better future if we're constantly working with each other and others who are trying to build technology with this values. And so the mistake for me around Mastodon, or the unfortunate thing around Mozilla Social, was we weren't the best organization to take that on.
Mm-hmm. That's why I get why you did it. Yeah.
And it's not an apology. It's to say like what we actually needed to do was like work side by side with the people who are taking on social. It's why I'm involved in Free Our Feeds, with the people who are taking on this part of AI, with the people who are taking on this part of chat, people like Signal.
But you also brought that ethical consideration, again, alongside freedom. So
I see what you're saying, because it's the human.
Is there a similar thing around AI where you start to, I remember having this argument many, many years ago with Tim O'Reilly. We should all get badges that we're good bloggers. I don't want nobody's sticking badge, right? I don't think Tim would say that anymore either. So I'm not asking for a simple rule set, but what you've always done is pushed not just the technology, but the ethical considerations.
Yep.
So is that part of what you want to do with AI, is where I'm headed here?
Yes. And so I wrote a paper, a bunch of us wrote a paper back in 2020 called Creating Trustworthy AI. And that's really the foundations of a lot of where we are now. We updated that in 2024 with a similarly titled paper. And the idea, like, how do we hold really the human values part of the manifesto? And we actually added in 2017 a second half of the Mozilla manifesto around making sure that, truth and human values are a part of what we consider when we build things. How do you align that with, open source, security, freedom, privacy, all of those kinds of things?
Right.
And that's the vision we've had for AI that we've evolved over the last 5 years. To your point, is we need an approach to designing products, to designing technology, to designing the economics in this era of tech that fuses those human ethical factors and those kind of technical freedom and privacy and security factors like together. And it is what we're trying to do. And it's where, the Thunderbird people are very cautious for reasons you would imagine around getting into AI, because it's a privacy-oriented email client, and they're not putting AI in Thunderbird, in any way that they have in their plans. But that group of people, they're working on an AI assistant experimentally that is like all encrypted, basically like a Signal for chatbots. And so you have people who are trying to infuse all of those values together and build things around them. And that's what's exciting about Mozilla, is you get to build stuff that fuses those things together.
Now I'm bummed because I have, as you can see on my screen, always on my Mastodon, linked to your content policies on Mozilla, and I realized it's no longer there. So I'm gonna have to find a cache of it, and I'm gonna have to put it on my site. And,
well, one of the other Rebel Alliance members, or at least people I've always been a fan and supporter of, is the Internet Archive. So they've got there for you.
I'm sure they'll have it. Yeah,
you can go on the way.
I'm going to steal it if you don't mind. Let me ask you, because it is an AI show. Are you going to have your own models? What are you going to do around AI?
That is such a great question. Our view is there's a lot happening in models, whether it's the closed models or open source models. And up to now, it's been very expensive to train them. And so our focus has really been about what do you build on top of it, like the developer experience layer when I talk about any LLM and those kind of things. Or what do we do in terms of being able to fine tune them, like building this Mozilla Data Collective, and not going into the model space because there's so many people focused there. That said, there are some gaps and there are some changes. And so first, the gaps, like you have more and more capable open weight models, whether it's GPT OSS or Qwen, like, from big tech or from the Chinese companies. And those are good, but the gap is there are no fully highly performant state-of-the-art, what we call fully open models, which means these open weights models, you can tweak them and you can use them for free. It's like they used to talk about free as in beer, but they're not free as in speech in that you can't really modify them or see how they work. And that's real open source, where you could see what's the training data. How did they actually do the training? What's the training code? Is it open source? How do I tweak it? And, there are people like the Allen Institute in Seattle who their Olmo models are great and are truly open, but, we need to see more investment in what they're building. And we need to see more people building these truly open models. So we are looking about how do we work in partnership with some of those players where, we had closed LLMs, we have open weights LLMs. We think that we can get to the point working with the right people to have competitive, truly fully open LLMs. So it is a place that we're focused. Rafi, our CTO, is looking at, so who do we partner with around that? But then the other thing that is changing, this is more maybe where we will have our own models, is people working on small models that are highly performant for specific use cases. So you guys can have a small model you train, which there's a company that's going to come out of stealth next week that we've invested in that is really focused on this. The model exactly for this show, or the model exactly for my accented version of this language in the Basque region, or pick your anything. And I think small models being orchestrated together is more what people are going to use. And I think we will get into that piece of the space. So a lot that will happen there, but I don't think that's the most interesting story. I think the most interesting story is how do people adopt and use that stuff, and how does open source win at that level? Much like, kind of boring in many ways, the Linux distribution, or like package management in Linux, which is the thing that lets you pick which things you're installing. But once we had those, all of a sudden you had a whole world that you can pull together into anything. That's the part of AI we're focused on.
Firefox.com, get the best browser, support it. Thunderbird.com if you want to get the best email. What is Thunderbird Pro? This is something new. Do you know anything about this?
Well, I think I know a little bit about it, yeah.
Do you know anything about this?
So it's, basically for years and years and years, Thunderbird was just a desktop email client, and now it has an amazing Android version, and they're working on an iOS thing, but it's still like a client. It's not a webmail. It's not a server. And so what Thunderbird Pro is to give you email hosting and webmail that is encrypted. And so, you're going to be able to go and get safe, secure email, move your domain there if you want, get a Thunderbird email address if you want. And, it's kind of finally moving into that space, which, maybe seems like 10 years, 15 years too late, 20 years too late, who knows? But there's still a demand for it. And I think especially as things like Gmail get junkified with AI, and so the AI can be helpful, but you don't get to turn it on or off there. I think people are going to be looking for alternatives, and Thunderbird
Interesting.
Pro
Where are the servers going to be?
That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that.
There's been a lot of interest I see in Europe and elsewhere for servers that are not in the U.S.
Yep.
I use Fastmail, and there are a lot of people who would like a Fastmail replacement that's not run servers in the U.S. Maybe I'm one of them.
Yeah. I know that the Thunderbird folks are looking at how they spread those things out and maybe give you those choices. I also know the Firefox people are looking at AI models that are European that would just work in Europe. So
I like it.
There are plays like that we're looking at. I don't know exactly the answer for Thunderbird Pro and where it starts out of the gate.
I've signed up on the wait list. It says $9 a month. I'd be glad to support it. Very good tools, and we really appreciate this new manifesto and this new direction. I think you're really on the right track, Mark, and so glad we could have some time with you. Very impressed with everything. You
guys are great, and anytime you want to talk more, with St. Anthony on Ryan, who makes Thunderbird, is also
we'd love to get more.
Great guy to talk to.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for doing the work you do.
I have to ask you one question. You worked at Rogers Community Television up there in Toronto. I used to do Call for Help up there in that beautiful building right there on the water. That old kind of brownstone building. Was that where you were?
So where were you in that brownstone? No, that's not where I was.
No,
I was in Parkdale.
Okay, because that was in the like the second floor. They had a news operation that was in like 30 languages.
Oh, that was the CFMT. I did actually work in that building, but not on community television.
Okay.
So that building is right by the island airport.
Right.
And that was the multicultural, multilingual.
So cool. I'm sure it's gone now.
And I worked upstairs when there was something launched called YTV, which was youth television. It was like the Canadian equivalent of Nickelodeon. And that was probably my third, I was, 22, my third job in television. All my first part of my career was television.
Okay.
And I was the guy who played the old episodes of Bonanza and or Lassie or Doctor Who,
Very important job.
We produced Call for Help in that building, probably in that same studio, 2005, 2004, 6, 7, thereabouts.
Yeah, I was a bit earlier than that.
Yeah. And I'm sure that was the studio and that they had replaced that. And all I remember is there was a big pole right in the middle of the studio that we had to work around with the cameras.
There always is.
But it was fun working in that location. I really enjoyed it.
I loved that building.
I loved going to Toronto, man. Every month I'd go for a week. I really enjoyed it.
We got lots of good stuff there. Come on down.
Yeah, it's up for us. Mark?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, above the 49th parallel. That's where the good stuff is.
We are always welcome.
Are you based in Toronto?
I am based in Toronto. I actually moved a little bit outside of Toronto, about 2 hours to Toronto, to a little farm, 5-acre farm, not a big farm.
Nice.
Near my mom.
Cool. What a delight.
Then I can go have dinner with her. And,
nice. You're probably freezing right now, though. I'm sure it's pretty chilly.
How's the fiber?
Pardon?
How's the fiber?
I unfortunately am beholden to Elon Musk on connectivity.
Oh, ouch!
But,
as much as I hate that, we are too.
But wait, there's a story on that. I am unfortunately on Starlink for now, which is expensive. But there is a kind of a partnership between the municipality and a small telco rolling out fiber. So they've been watching the fiber trucks, rolling the conduit like all last summer, and this year it'll turn on.
That's the way to do it.
Broad them to come to your street. Yeah.
That should be part of the manifesto is municipal internet. That's really another piece of the puzzle.
Well, it's a public-private partnership. It's a small company and the municipality. But it's like that.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Mark. I appreciate your time.
All right. Thanks,
appreciate
everybody.
your work you're doing.
Great to hang with you guys.
Great stuff. All right.
Thanks so much.
Mark Sermon, president of Mozilla, the Mozilla's organization. Quick, go to Firefox.com and download Firefox. You know what? If you've got a bad memory of it from years gone by,
it's better.
It's so much better. It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. It's really, really good. It's on all my machines. Thank you, Mark.
Thanks, guys.
We'll continue with Intelligent Machines in just a moment. This is I Am with Paris Martineau and Jeff Jarvis. Well, I think given Jeff's enfeebled state, we should...
Given the amount of walking technology within arm's reach of Jeff right now.
we should probably wrap
him.
things up because poor guy is Cacio and Pepe. Do you get Cacio and Pepe still, or do you have to eat like Jello for the rest of your life? I mean,
no, I'm okay. I had a.
I bet they have Cacio e Pepe Jello.
I had the roast beef on Vex sandwich today from.
That sounds good.
It's good. It's very good. It's like a upstate New York sandwich.
What's Vex?
It's I forget the folder. It's a kind of bread with caraway seeds and salt.
Ooh, I want some.
And my wife's taking wonderful care of me, and yeah,
nice.
No wine.
No wine.
Wineless.
I think wine's good for you.
Yeah, he's on painkillers.
Oh, that wouldn't be good for you.
No,
very relaxed.
No.
Well, we're going to let you relax because
he doesn't need the wine.
Yeah, that's right. Good point. You got the pharmaceutical grade wine. We are going to wrap things up with our picks of the week. And I know if there was some big thing you wanted to talk about that I didn't mention.
Even though you're ending this in my behalf.
Well, if you continue it, it's on you, man.
It is on you. You were the one who said you didn't want to do a 3-hour show, and we're hurtling towards that.
I know.
But I am going to give you that opportunity. Absolutely. What do you want to talk about?
Lines 228 to 229 or 30.
LeCun and Demis have something to say.
So what's interesting here is as I've talked often on the show about how Jan LeCun has talked about world models versus LLMs. That's actually the thing you're showing now is a kind of a joke of his. That's not what I'm talking about.
Oh,
but it's the battle of scale and LLMs versus world models, and I saw a debate between Adam Brown from what's the Google company?
DeepMind.
DeepMind, thank you. From DeepMind against Jan LeCun. And Jan told me afterwards about how so many people are LLM pilled and they believe that it's all about the LLMs and the scale. Well, now you have Demis Hassabis, who is now saying that ChatGPT may be a dead end and that we have to focus on world models. I think that's a really important moment in the paradigm of where we head in the next year or so. Where you got OpenAI is going to be going its scale route, and you have NVIDIA, Jan LeCun, and maybe DeepMind heading toward a world model route. It's never been exclusive, but it's really interesting to me that I think that's a potential sea change there. So I just wanted to get that on the record. That was it.
Yeah, and I don't think we know yet, and
no, we don't.
And I also, it makes sense. It's reasonable. But remember, we're walking through a little bit of a minefield that has to do with history. That a lot of these are debates that have been going on since the 50s. We talked about this last week. And to some degree, what you're hearing is kind of the echoes of those debates as they've gone down through the ages. Remember we had, when we talked with the author of Mathematica, Stephen Wolfram, about AI, and he said, well, it's not over for symbolic AI. That was the AI that was the one that, if there was a AI winter, the one that led us into that AI winter and was replaced by transformers, which is what LLMs are. And what I think Stephen was kind of saying is, well, don't give up on symbolic. And I think that's kind of what these guys are saying in a different way. Don't give up on other kinds of models. But what's remarkable is how far transformers have gotten us in a way that I wouldn't have expected.
Yeah, so
no one debates that.
The counter argument might be, and I've heard this expressed too, we're nothing more than LLMs. And our brains are just prediction machines. In fact, I think it was Demis Hassabis who said this at Davos. He said, it's hard to prove otherwise, that what we're doing as we talk, what I'm doing right now as I talk, is not exactly what an LLM does, where it's saying, well, what's the next word? And what's the next word? What's the next word? What's the next word? And we've gotten pretty far with that. It may in fact be that we can get as far as a human mind can get. Now, I think it is absolutely true. Also, humans definitely have a model of the physical world.
This though is a philosophical discussion that's been going on since the beginning of time. This is like the original question.
You're right, Benito. It's the original question: is what is a human?
Well,
it's an original question, and I'd argue. Listen, I was trying to decide between two different things for my pick of the week, but this segues perfect into my second one, which is I think an unusual pairing. I think I've mentioned I've been trying to watch all four Matrix movies with a friend. I watched Matrix 3, the most maligned Matrix. 1, I thought it was great.
Really?
But 2, I think it pairs excellently with reading Claude's new constitution and this debate, because the core premise of Matrix Revolutions, the third Matrix, and what I think is the most interesting part of it, is it's a intense exploration of what is the end state if you take the idea that software programs, or a large language model in this case, is essentially capable of doing the sort of thought that humans are. It's kind of a significant part of it explores what would it mean for a machine to feel something like love, and does the idea of it feeling something, the argument the Matrix makes is that doesn't even matter, because that's simply just a word that we have come up with to describe inputs and outputs, and couldn't a machine be able to do the same thing? Anyway, I've been really enjoying watching all the old Matrix films. 1, because I think 2 and 3 are way better than the internet in the last 20 years has led me to believe.
Isn't there 4 as well?
There's 4 as well, and I'm excited to see 4. It's been 5 years
so
since
where do you stand on the simulation hypothesis? Because that's the central theme of all of this.
What do you mean? That life is a simulation?
Yeah, that we think we're in a real world when in fact, well, in case of the Matrix, well, I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it.
Okay, no. If you're worried about having the Matrix be spoiled, turn off the podcast, watch all 4 Matrix movies, then turn it back on.
They've had 20 years, Leo. They've had 20 years.
You've had 25
I just remember
years
that I saw the Matrix without any. I had no idea what I was going in to see. I just thought it was a Keanu Reeves movie, and I came out of it with my eyes like this, oh.
And I mean, I think that's the thing about The Matrix that has resulted in it having such a disjointed reputation as originally a trilogy, and now as 4 movies, a quadrangle, whatever you may say, is that the first movie was literally, just a leap forward in terms of so many.
The first one was a revolution.
Action.
That's
it
why
was a revolution in cinema,
compare the other
technically
two.
as well as ideologically. There is this very so I'm also watching these all on Blu-ray, and there is this very
Isn't it nice, by the way? I just want to say, doesn't it look good on that TV in Blu-ray?
It looks phenomenal on that TV, and it looks. This is a recommendation for you. I would really recommend watching it on a fancy TV on a Blu-ray disc, because the first time when I watched the first Matrix movie, a year or a couple months ago. It's not the first time I watched it, but the first time in this thing. I watched it on streaming, and I decided to buy Blu-rays because the sound was so off on streaming. But the visuals of it are also off. But this is all to say, one of the things you get when you buy movies in physical disc form is all the extras. And the Wachowskis have this, they kind of have both the Wachowski sisters are now faded from life, and have faded from public life since the first one. But they did, instead of doing a traditional audio commentary, wrote a little essay that goes with the second and third Matrix movies that I found quite interesting, in part just because of, let me try and find the line. I took photos of it. To be honest, it, being The Matrix, didn't look like other stories, owing perhaps to the dangers of fraternal conjugation. It did, however, look a lot like us, reflecting our own particular genealogy of interests, and while to some it may appear a hideous, convoluted mistake, to us, a chop-socky film that comments on the Hegelian dialectic while having a guy who can fly and stop bullets is something that we are, well, pretty darn proud of.
As they should be. Wow.
And I was just saying, I would recommend, it's a true delight to revisit the Matrix movies but especially the headier, more philosophical 2 and 3 in the age of AI, because the Wachowskis were grappling with a lot of the kind of core debates we're seeing major frontier AI companies like Anthropic grapple with today, but they were doing that 23 years earlier, and it's fascinating.
Are you watching on Blu-ray or UHD?
UHD.
Yes. So you have a UHD player. That's the way to watch it.
Isn't it a UHD Blu-ray? Isn't that the full name for it?
They're two different things.
Okay.
Blu-ray is just the medium. Blu-ray is just like the disc itself.
What
the
you want
medium is the message.
UHD 4K on Blu-ray.
Yes, that's what I've got. A UHD.
You can
4K
get a Blu-ray
on
that's not.
Oh, I know, but I got the UHD I've got the Deja Vu.
That's
package,
the one.
which is all
$59.99 on
them.
Amazon. I'm going to buy it right now because of you. Because I have to give
It's
2,
a real
3,
delight,
and 4 another
I will
shot.
say.
Yeah.
I would.
Maybe watching
so-
them all together will help me.
I will say also watching 2 and 3 together as one movie is also the move, because you may not remember, but when it was released, Matrix 2 came out, I think, like 2 or 3 years after Matrix 1, and then 6 months later, Matrix 3 came out, and Matrix 2 ends on a cliffhanger. It's like basically just 2 and 3 are one big movie that in today's world would be a 3-hour Oppenheimer-esque mega movie, but
they couldn't
back
do
in the
it
day
then.
they were split because that would have been insane.
You can't just make 2. You
but
gotta
it
make
is-
3. You can't just make 2.
Yeah, it's true. You do kind of have to. And it's very interesting because I think my Matrix 1 is all about the action and the conceit and the stylistic nature of it. Matrix 2 starts off a bit muddled because they then try to pull out towards Zion, which is like the machine city outside of, or like the people city outside of the Matrix, and they start to introduce all these complex philosophical notions. And part of you is being like, but I just want my big battles. And they're there. They're the back 2/3 of the movie.
I don't want big
But
battles.
Matrix,
I'm into the Hegelian.
I was going to say, the reason why I would argue for Matrix 3, honestly, is like watch a YouTube summary, is because Matrix 3, so much of it is like, let's explore how these programs are now people and their whole family relationships, and talk about philosophy and Hegel. And then we go to a big battle set, and I'm like, no, give me back my quiet philosophical musings, please.
Well, I just bought all 4 of them, and I'm going to watch them one after the other. And then
I'd recommend
I'm going to
it.
read Infinite Jest, and I'll talk to you in about 4 years.
I was about to say, my other pick was that Infinite Jest is turning 30, and I'm trying to decide whether or not I should miss out on this
Have you
show
finished
next
it or
week.
not?
I've read it. I finished it once in college, and I read
good.
like 2/3 of it last year.
It has been sitting on my bedside table for at least 10 years. I keep meaning to read it. Yeah. Well, you have the hardcover. I have a paperback. I carry it with me on trips. I carry it with me, hoping that someday.
Are you using a 2 bookmark system?
Oh.
That's the cool thing. You
'Cause
gotta
of the footnotes.
you gotta get a 1 bookmark up here and then a bookmark in the back for the footnotes.
There's a lot of subtext.
and the footnotes are important. There's
you
a
probably
whole.
can't do it on an e-reader very well, and you certainly can't do it in an audiobook.
I mean, an e-reader would be great if they had you just
Like you
be
could
able to
tap
skip,
it
tap, and go to the footnotes, and then
Yeah.
tap back. But I don't believe in them. Anyway, my Infinite Jest is turning 30, and the 92nd Street Y is doing a big event to celebrate it that I want to go to, but it's next Wednesday, and so I don't know.
Are they
whether I'm
reading
gonna go or
the
not.
entire book? Because that's what they do. On,
I mean, they should.
On,
that would be great.
For Ulysses on Bloomsday, which is in June. I can't remember when Bloomsday is, but we even have it here where they do it all over the world, where they'll read the entire book on Bloomsday. Because as you know, Ulysses the entire novel takes place on one day. I think it's
How
June
many
14th.
pages is Ulysses?
It's long. It's long. You're glad when it's over. It probably takes them June 16th. It takes them, I think, 12 hours to read the whole thing. But
670
almost as long as it would
900
take to watch
pages.
all 4 Matrix movies. No, I've
Well,
ordered
so
it.
if I really cared about being a completionist, my original thought was to watch all 4 Matrix movies and the Animatrix, which is after the first Matrix movie, the Wachowskis commissioned, because they kind of based the Matrix based on anime, Ghost in the Machine. They commissioned some of their favorite anime directors to do 4 like mini films exploring the other themes and backgrounds in the Matrix. But
Paris, have you seen Dark City?
No, should I?
Yeah, this is the other movie that came out in the late 90s that's kind of like The Matrix that got overshadowed by The Matrix.
Is it animated or is it?
No, I love this already because it's a photo of a man, very blurry, strapped to a clock.
You should watch that. You should watch that, Paris.
That reminds me of that other movie you like a lot. Where the guy jumps off the building at the clock.
Oh, yeah, Hudsucker Proxy. You hate that. That's fine.
Not like.
It's not for everyone, I've since learned.
All right, I've never seen Dark City, a neo-noir science fiction film. This sounds good.
This is great.
Jennifer Connelly, Rufus Sewell.
They built the city to see what makes us tick.
It's kind of like The Matrix without the action.
One of us went off. Ooh.
Should I order this on UHD? Huh?
Do they have it on
$159 for the limited edition one. That tells you there's something going on with Dark City, like there's a big cult. But
I love that the Hudsucker Proxy clan is mobbing up in the Discord chat. It is a great movie.
It's too weird for me. You can stream it on Prime Video, so maybe I'll stream it first, and then if I really like it, buy the $160 UHD version. That's crazy. The Blu-ray's only $8.
I'm shocked it has a UHD version.
But only for $150, which makes no sense. That must be aftermarket or something. That's crazy.
I think you can get it on. Oh, yeah. It's because it's on like eBay only.
There's a 2-disc 4K
you can get
Ultra
it
HD
from
limited edition.
Get it from Arrow Video US for $35.
Oh, this is the guy who directed The Crow.
Can you direct crows? Don't they fly where the wind goes?
It's murder, I tell you, murder. Jeff Jarvis, you poor fella.
Right, so I'm going to do a quick one here.
You're doing a pick? Didn't you already do one?
No.
Wow.
I could do my pick line as a pick, but I won't.
No.
So I think this should have made more news. So Paris, our child, back in the day, we had American television brands. We bought RCA, Zenith, Motorola. I'm a little too young for Philco. Right? Leo, did you ever have a Philco?
I did not have a Philco.
Magnavox?
We went straight to Sony.
Oh, that's
my
where
first
I'm
color
headed.
TV. Yep.
That's where I'm headed.
Yep.
So we had our American brands, and then Japanese manufacturing, of course, was known for cheap stuff, including cheap transistor radios. But then Sony Television came, and it became the gold standard, I think, of television. It became the color television you wanted to have.
Everyone had those orange dots, that orange dot sticker at the corner of their TV. Everyone had that.
Yes. Well, so this happened today, which just amazed me. I didn't see that more news. Sony's TV and audio business has now been taken over by TCL.
Wow.
It didn't happen today. We talked about it on Sunday on Twit.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't seen any news all week, is all I'm saying.
TCL is now the largest TV manufacturer in the world, the Chinese manufacturer. And that's really the story. It was an American, actually, it's the 100th anniversary of television, which was invented in Scotland, of all places. So Monday was the 100th anniversary of the first television broadcast.
What did they broadcast?
Oh, that's a good question.
Oh, I'm trying to remember.
Oh, that's right. You're a TV critic. This should be right up your alley.
I should know that.
It's got to be someone playing the piano or something, right?
I think I have a YouTube video. No. John Logie Baird's first TV set.
Yes.
They don't say what he broadcast with it, but in any event.
Google AI overview, which is possibly wrong, says.
Go ahead.
Says that it is John Logie Baird's mechanical silhouette demos in London in 1925.
Okay.
A ventriloquist dummy named Stooky Bill.
Here it is. Here's a picture of the dummy and John Logie Baird. Look, I've invented television. It's great. Come watch it. I've got a dummy.
On the second,
Stooky Bill is here.
Working from his Frith Street laboratory, Baird managed to transmit the first television picture with tone gradation, first using the head of a ventriloquist dummy and then moving on to a human face. Baird's subject was William Edward Tanton, 20-year-old office boy. That's a job title you never get anymore. Who later recalled, Mr. Baird rushed downstairs in baggy flannels, a pair of carpet slippers and no socks. He almost dragged me into his workroom and sat me in front of his machine.
I'm going to put you on TV, boy.
And an enormous electronic bulb.
So it's 100 years old today, or Monday. So this is a perfect time to talk about this. And as you say, it was really an American. In fact, Philo T. Farnsworth kind of is celebrated as the inventor of TV. He's not.
And there's all kinds of drama with RCA involved and all that, yes.
So in fact, I think there's a plaque to Philo T. Farnsworth's lab in San Francisco, because I think that was where he did his work. But it was an American technology. Zenith, Philco, RCA. The Japanese came along, stole our business, Sony particularly, but there was
improved it.
Made it much better, and of course it went solid state. Remember, and then the Koreans took a look at what Sony had done to the Americans, and they said, "Well, wait a minute!" And along comes Samsung and a little television company called Lucky Gold Star, which made $90 TVs you'd find in the back of the drugstore. Lucky Gold Star changed their name to LG, and I think that's what you have as an LG, Paris. And
whoa, it stands for Lucky Gold Star.
Well, now they say life is good.
No. That's huge knowledge for this person.
Yeah. Say, hey, come see me. I got a Lucky Gold Star.
Repeat that as a fun fact 1,000 times.
But then what happened in the last decade is the Chinese saw how the Koreans stole it from the Japanese, and the Chinese undercut the Koreans with Hisense and TCL. And now, today, especially I think thanks to this Sony deal, because TCL is taking all of Sony's television business.
51%, yep.
All of the Bravias are now going to be made by TCL. They are officially the largest TV manufacturer in the world, by far.
Yeah. So does TCL stand for anything fun?
Oh, that's a good question. What does TCL stand for? Let's ask ChatGPT. It stands for the Tool Command Language. No, wrong. Yeah, I don't know. It's originally abbreviation for the creative life, according to Wikipedia.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, it's in Guangdong province.
Wow, and so the sorry.
They were in 2010. They were the world's 25th largest consumer electronics producer. By this year, they are number one.
The Lucky of Lucky Gold Star originated from the Lucky Chemical Industrial Corporation, which manufactured cosmetics.
Wow.
Now it is the largest Korean chemical company. And it was the 9th largest chemical company in the world by sales in 2021.
There you go.
Its three main business areas are petrochemicals, advanced materials, and life sciences. And advanced materials sounds like the sort of vague name for something that people would use in war.
Advanced materials blow you up good. Originally, TCL was called TTK. They made audio cassettes, but TDK sued them, saying you can't call yourself TTK. So they changed their name to TCL, taking the initials from Telecom Corporation Limited. But now, again, it's a little bit of a retronym. They say, no, that's the creative life. Anyway, yeah, that's a good story.
Right.
Hello, Gizmo. Speaking of Gizmos.
Gizmo, we were talking about
Her eyes are very
you.
wide. She says, I don't want to see those guys.
She's like, who are you?
Where's my tuna fish?
She wants to show whole. As always.
We will leave you with this story of the original television set. Here we go.
That day. This is him in the earliest known photograph of a television.
That's great.
It's the Matrix.
Have a quick chat to
the earliest known television. Oh, it's great. It's a puppet. I've transmitted a puppet's face across the world. Well, at least
no, it's
across
going to be
Scotland.
stuck in there forever.
It's stuck forever in my mind. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes this thrilling edition of Intelligent Machines. We wanted to make it a 2-hour show, but because of you, Jeff, It's 2.5 hours. Sorry. Jeff can now rest his weary bones. Will you be back next week, you think?
Yeah. I'm not going anywhere now. I've had to cancel. I should be in Austin right now. I canceled that.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
That's fine.
Well, I'm so glad you could be here. It isn't the same
I am too.
without you. So
thank
you, Jeff. Feel better. Take care of your coccyx.
Hey.
My
Take
L3.
Care of it. Your L3, which I think is connected to the coccyx.
I think it stands for
Somewhere.
Lucky Industrial Chemical Companies 3.
Paris, I have one departing request.
Mm-hmm.
Can we hear how right we are, please?
I couldn't agree with you more completely.
Thank you.
I love it.
I needed that.
Can we let's feed that to Qwen and get a digitized version of the yes man. I couldn't agree with you more completely. The funniest thing is I can see Paris as a 6-year-old wandering around the house saying, I couldn't agree with you more completely.
When you're right, you're right.
When you're right, Dad.
Oh, yeah, I'm behind you all the way.
Thank you for joining us on
Thanks,
Intelligent Machines. We do this show every Wednesday at 1400 Pacific time. That's 1700 East Coast time. That's 2200 UTC. You can watch us live, Twitch, x.com, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Kick. Or, of course, if you're a club member, thank you, club members in the Club Discord. On-demand versions of the show available at your favorite podcast client or on our website, twit.tv/IAM, or on YouTube, audio or video. Please subscribe. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to leave the final word to the yes man.
I'm sure whatever you're thinking is correct.
Bye-bye! Hey, everybody, it's Leo Laporte. It's the last week to take our annual survey. This is so important for us to get to know you better. We thank everybody who's already taken the survey, and if you're one of the few who has not, you have a few days left. Visit our website, twit.tv/survey26, and fill it out before January 31st. And thank you so much. We appreciate it.